Chapter 864, Flame Dragon's Transformation Skill. Open! Chapter 864, Flame Dragon's Transformation Skill. Open! You're finally here. Transu Emperor's voice was excited, his eyes twinkling with excitement, as though he had been waiting for tens of thousands of years. At the same time, the aura on his body suddenly became quiet. Long Fei smiled lightly and said, "Have you washed your butt clean?" Sea Dragon King sent a sound transmission to him. "Boss, what he is wearing should be the Emperor armor. 6 million years ago, it was an immortal stage divine equipment. Let me do it. Let me test his strength." Sea Dragon King said. He was very clear in his heart that the cultivation level of the Transu was extremely strong. Long Fei was not a match for him at all. It was not that he did not trust Long Fei, but the facts were right in front of him. It was impossible for Long Fei's strength to defeat Transu Emperor. Not just him. Black Dragon, Azure Dragon, and Golden Dragon, they all knew clearly in their hearts that Long Fei was not their match. The Transu Emperor that was donned with the Emperor armor became even more ferocious. Long Fei shook his head and said, "No need." Sea Dragon King was stunned and said, "Boss, his power is too terrifying. His defense alone is not enough, so we need powerful attacks to defeat him." The Azure Dragon ancestor replied, "His armor is the Emperor armor, and the longsword in his hand is the Transu's holy sword. His attack power is too great. Not only the armor, the sacred sword. Every single thing on the Transu's body was a holy artifact, and every single thing contained a strong power. Not to mention Long Fei, even they wouldn't be able to move against him. They did not know how Long Fei was going to deal with the Transu Emperor, but looking at the current situation, Long Fei was not his match. Transu did not make his move in a hurry. Instead, he looked at Long Fei and said, "This is the great temple of my Transu, and the rankings of our ancestors are all inside. The arrival of your dragon clan destroyed my Transu empire. I have been pitted by the heavens and was able to absorb the power of that calamity, but I was too weak back then, and I was trapped by the seal before I could even react. However, 30 years in the East, 30 years in the West, more than 6 million years in the seal allowed me to become incomparably strong, allowing me to cultivate the mutated energy in the midst of my calamity to the peak realm. Kid, whether you are the reincarnation of a Yuan Long or not, I will use your head to pay tribute to the people who died during that calamity." Transu's battle intent began to ignite. Long Fei looked at Transu and asked, "Are you done talking? Are you done? Since we're done, let's start the fight. I've been unable to bear it for a long time." Long Fei shouted excitedly towards the Sea Dragon King and the others, "All of you retreat." Sea Dragon King's eyes darkened and said, "Boss, you—" Long Fei did not want to explain and said, "This is an order, retreat." The dragons drew back a little. Long Fei looked at the Azure Dragon ancestor and said, "If I die, I would ask you to help me bring Song Qianqian and Ling Long out. You should know where they are now. If I lose, I'm really sorry that I won't be able to help the dragon race. It's up to you guys to decide what to do with the tribulation." Long Fei was not confident either. However, he had to do it, being beaten up by the Golden Dragon Master, and the Green Dragon was tantamount to his brother being bullied. As his boss, if he couldn't help his brother get back at him, he would be treated like a fart. As soon as he finished, Long Fei suddenly shouted out, "Now, all of you retreat." Sea Dragon King retreated, and all the other dragons followed. At the same time, they secretly made up their minds. No matter what, even if they had to trade their lives, they couldn't let Long Fei die. Long Fei used the free cloud art and stood in midair, staring at the King of Transu, and laughed, "Let's begin." Transu's eyes darkened. He took a step forward, and his powerful strength surged like 100,000 prehistoric beasts towards Long Fei's mind. Yan Huang Ancestor's mind was in shock as he hurriedly said, "Kid, be careful." In an instant, the power of the Yan Huang Ancestor instantly transformed into a defensive power, protecting Long Fei's mind and his sea of consciousness. Long Fei's heart was incomparably calm. There wasn't the slightest ripple. Looking at the Transu that was charging towards him, he madly calculated in his mind, "No, no way. If we can't kill him, we can't. He's too strong. I can't find any weak points. No, his defense is simply too strong. We can't find any weak points at all." His brain was like a computer crazily calculating the Transu's attacks, defenses, and everything else. If Long Fei's strength was compared to his, the chances of winning were zero. No chance at all. Even if he included the cultivation technique he was cultivating in, it still wouldn't do. The chances of him winning were still zero. Huff. Long Fei exhaled a long breath. Since that's the case, then there's no other way. We can only rely on the enlargement stroke. Long Fei wanted to try and see if he could defeat Transu Emperor with his own strength. After thinking it through, not only could he not win, he would even be defeated by him in one move. If that's the case, Long Fei had no other choice but to use the enlargement stroke. See, Dragon King was burning with anxiety. Why hasn't Boss made a move yet? Why is there no energy fluctuation on his body? Just what is he thinking? The Azure Dragon Ancestor was also unable to see through Long Fei, and he didn't know what Long Fei wanted to do either. Seeing him standing there, without moving, his heart became extremely nervous. Golden Dragon Master said, "I can't watch it any longer. No, I have to rush up." The General Assembly died. He really will die. All the 14th Dragon Ancestor were worried. Looking at Long Fei, who was not moving at all, they were extremely worried. Every heart was in his throat. Every heart was ready to go, ready for everything. And at this moment, each second was longer than it had been for 10,000 years. Blood Dragon Ancestor could not withstand the pressure and shouted, "I'm going to throw caution to the wind. Boss, I'm coming." Next, Poison Dragon Elder was the same. "I can't care that much anymore." See, Dragon King threw caution to the wind and shouted, "Everyone attack together. No matter what, you have to protect our boss, even if it means your own life." Immediately, 14th Dragon Ancestor went crazy. Seeing Long Fei not moving, the pressure in their hearts was too strong, and they could not take it. Transu looked at Long Fei, who was motionless and laughing coldly. "Kid, tremble. Pay the price for your crimes back then." His eyes were full of contempt. With the cultivation level of the virtual immortal stage, he could kill them with a finger. Even if it was with the 14th Dragon Ancestor added in, he would not be a match for them. A chief sovereign, just as 14th Dragon Ancestor rushed out. The moment Transu's attack was about to land, Long Fei's eyes were filled with anger. The idea moved. Xianbao's spirit stones, release. Boom. 1,000,000 power of celestial values were temporarily added into Long Fei's power of celestial value. At the same time, Long Fei roared furiously, "Turn Yanlong into God. Open." This was 2F * King Cool. His voice was like thunder as it raged out. Within Long Fei's body, 1,000,000 power of celestial points were instantly used up. The turn Yanlong into God was released. His body suddenly changed. Rumble, rumble, rumble. The power of the 9 heavens above came crashing down one after another. Long Fei's body abruptly changed as the powerful energy of the flame dragon directly bounced away the 14th Dragon Ancestor. Transu's holy sword came crashing down on the flame dragon's head. It didn't move at all. Long Fei stared deadly at Transu. His incomparably powerful dragon's aura surged to its peak. As Long Fei's voice came out from the flame dragon's cold mouth, "You made your move, and now it's my turn, right?" Before he could finish his words, the flame dragon suddenly opened its bloody mouth, and without giving Transu any chance to react, swallowed him whole. Crack! Crack! They began to chew crazily, and each bite was like a crushing machine crushing Transu's body, continuously exploding forth with incomparably terrifying critical damage. 132, 3822 inch, 203, 4232, 973, 2232, one after another, the damage figures floated up. What emperor armor? What holy sword? What tribulation force of variation? Is it considered a joke? Long Fei was extremely irritable when it came to looking down on him. Transu did not have the slightest bit of temper. Invincible defense. Bullshit. Attack explode. Bullshit. To chop off Long Fei's head and hang it above the temple? Bullshit. He ate it in one bite. Do you have a temper? 14th dragon ancestor were completely dumbstruck when they were forced back by the aura of the flame dragon. Flame, and flame dragon? Peak Realm's flame dragon? Boss transformed into the flame dragon? Or could it be that flame dragon is in boss body as well? No, that can't be. We are also in boss body. Why didn't we transform into our peak realm? How could it be flame dragon? Seeing the flame dragon eat the Transu Emperor in one bite, they were completely dumbstruck. Moreover, their cultivation did not even recover 10%, but the flame dragon that Long Fei had transformed into was actually a peak realm. See, Dragon King was dumbstruck. My darling, now I finally understand why you guys followed him. I finally understand why he doesn't recognize himself as a Yuan Long. This is much stronger than the Yuan Long. The Zhongya gold body in the formation was invincible, while the octopus was being bombarded by the sea. When he was ravaging the Variation Panther King, Long Fei had released a power that was stronger than his previous one, and now he was actually able to transform into the Flame Dragon Patriarch of the Peak Realm. What kind of power was this? Too overbearing. See, Dragon King laughed madly. Transu, aren't you awesome? Wasn't he arrogant? Another arrogant one. Ha ha. The blood dragon laughed wildly. What's wrong with Transu Empire? What's wrong with fusing the powers of the cataclysm? If the Yuan Long had not intentionally let you off and brought you all back to the seal, would you have been able to live to this day? You old fart, continue being cocky. I can't kill you. They let out a long breath, feeling incomparably excited. Right now, let alone the arrogant Transu, he couldn't even say a single word. The amount of blood on his head was quickly decreasing, and in just a few seconds, he was dead. Long Fei said smugly, "You want to crush my brother? Move my woman? You want to force my enlargement stroke? Your father's anger has been aroused by you. Now give it to me. Go berserk, berserk, berserk." Long Fei said each word. The flame dragon ancestor's strength suddenly sank, and he swallowed the Transu Emperor into his stomach. Boom! The flame on the flame dragon's body suddenly retracted and immediately entered its body, exterminating the last bit of blood on Transu Emperor's head. At this moment, the system exploded, and the system sounded out a notification sound. Long Fei could not wait any longer and shouted, "Release your striking energy value." Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Transu Emperor for obtaining 10 million experience, 0 power of celestial points, 10 energy values points. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Holy Spirit blood. Do you wish to fuse it? Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Transu Emperor blood lineage. Do you wish to fuse them? Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining level 9 variant crystal nucleu. Do you wish to fuse it? Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining variant Emperor helmet. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining variant King armor. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the Transu's variant King's sacred sword. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining variant King arm guard. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining variant Emperor boots. Crack, 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 crack. Long Fei looked at the Space Ring S items one after another, and couldn't help but curse. This is 2F asterisk King cool. Ha ha. 18 sets of the Overlord set, and all of them are mutated sets. Isn't this letting lousy go against the will of the heavens? So cool. From the time he had teleported to now, from the time he arrived in the southern domain, it had been the most thrilling experience Long Fei had ever experienced in his entire life. After exploding Transu Emperor, the system sounded out yet again. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining a special reward for defeating Transu Emperor. The reward is Revenge Blade. A slender, long sword floated in Long Fei's mind. There was nothing special about the sword. However, when Long Fei saw its attribute, he was instantly given a fright. Fuck, it's another immortal stage divine equipment, but system, aren't you being too stupid? I can't even use the reward. What do you mean female use only? Revenge Blade S were specifically used by females. If Long Fei used his words, he wouldn't be able to unleash its power. Immediately, when Long Fei thought of the Sword Force King Kong's Aoya, he let out a breath in his heart and said, this time around, the affability level of 999 points should be close to 0, right? Seeing this long and thin Revenge Blade that was like a LOL sword technique, Long Fei was happy. This is tailor-made for you. I don't believe I can't beat you. It was also at this time Long Fei felt Yen Huang Ancestor make a move and immediately shouted out, Ancestor, can you let me act a few times before devouring it? 100 variant crystal nucleu. You go fill up your stomach first. That should be enough, right? Yen Huang Ancestor grinned. 200. Deal. Long Fei immediately asked the King's variant set and the super artifact set if he could wear them during the Academy tournament. Wouldn't that make all the girls in the Academy go crazy for him? Huh. Long Fei looked at the drop of blood essence within the space ring. Holy Spirit blood, what is this? Chapter 866, Super Big Riche. Chapter 866, Super Big Riche. Long Fei could understand blood, lineage, S, and Emperor armor. What needed to be fused should be fused together as well. But when he randomly glanced at the Holy Spirit blood, without even thinking, the idea moved. However, the system beeped out a prompt. Ding! The attributes do not match. It is impossible to fuse them? Long Fei was shocked. What do you mean by attributes do not match and cannot fuse? What the hell? Long Fei fused again, but the result was the same. The attributes did not match, and the fusion was impossible. Then, Long Fei opened up the system to check the attributes of the Holy Spirit blood. Item: Holy Spirit blood strength, 10-star speed, 10 stars grade. Description: the fusing must be non-human, non-demon, non-ghost, non-demon. Description 2. The user can gain the power of the Holy Spirit and increase his or her power by 100%. Description 3. The host must be the son of the Holy Spirit. After reading the description given by the system, Long Fei instantly became excited. Heaven Spirit, Sky Spirit. Isn't this something specially prepared for Heaven Spirit? He's the only one who isn't human, ghost, demon, or demon. Son of the Holy Spirit. What the F asterisk asterisk K. Awesome. Long Fei looked at the Holy Spirit blood with incomparable excitement and muttered in his heart, Li Yuanba's giant spirit corpse. Son of the Holy Spirit of the Holy Spirit. They have special powers. The other King Kong must have special powers as well. Wakaka, aren't my 8 great King Kong too cool? I like it. Long Fei thought that the giant spirit corpse's appearance was a coincidence. However, the first time was a coincidence, but the second time was definitely not a coincidence. Transu was such an awesome person. He was simply unable to refine this drop of Holy Spirit blood. From the beginning to the end, the energy that he exploded forth with was the mutated power of the calamity, and it did not contain the strength of Holy Spirit blood at all. In other words, he was not the son of the Holy Spirit, and could not be fused. In this world, if there were any inhuman, non-demonic, non-demon, it would definitely be a heavenly spirit. Long Fei's 8 great Vajrabhati all had powerful inherent skills, and Long Fei had to look for these inherent skills. Ha ha! Holy Spirit, just wait for the heavens. Ha ha ha! As long as you fuse with the Holy Spirit blood, your big grudge will be easy. Long Fei did not forget the deep hatred that the heavenly spirit realm had towards him, nor did he forget the request that the heavenly spirit realm's mother had given him. Brother's business was his business. The Holy Spirit blood, I left it for you. As Long Fei was looking through all of this, the lost continent shattered piece by piece, and the sky also crumbled. The entire continent was supported by the powers of the Transu Emperor. After he died, the energy source disappeared, and the lost continent that had been silent for millions of years began to crumble as it could not withstand the pressure of the deep sea. Boss, the situation isn't right. This place might collapse. The blood dragon looked at ancestor Yen Long, whose physique was several times larger than theirs. If it hadn't been for the fact that they had personally seen him, they would have definitely thought that he was a flame dragon. Sea Dragon King replied, We have to quickly leave this place. At the same time, a golden dragon master came back from the beach, carrying an unconscious Song Qianqian, and Ling Long on his back, and said, Boss, let's go. Long Fei regained his composure. Seeing the sky crack and the earth fall, the scene looked as though it was the end of the world, as he secretly became anxious in his heart. Helpless, she shouted, Let's go. He really didn't want to leave. Transu Empire's treasures had yet to be collected. He needed money. He needed immortal crystals to cultivate. Sigh, my life is probably going to be filled with poverty. I've missed another opportunity to make a fortune. Long Fei complained in his heart. Looking at the Transu Empire, which was quickly collapsing, his heart ached. Yen Huang ancestor listened to his complaints and said, If someone else were to hear your words, I'm afraid they would really want to give you a slap. What do you mean by poor? You made a whole 1,300 variant crystal nuclei. Forget about those high-grade crystals. Just the energy of the first-grade crystal core is 3 times more than the immortal crystals. I estimate that other than the big tycoons with the fairy stones as essence mines, there is probably no one else in God's martial continent who is richer than you. You're a tycoon now. Super tycoon, if you add on 18 mutated monarch sets. Using your usual phrase, who the hell else would it be? Yen Huang said in disdain. He really wanted to kick Long Fei a few times. How infuriating. This trip to Transu could be said to be his greatest gain. Just these mutated immortal crystals were much more valuable than the treasures found in the Transu Empire. However, the Yen Huang ancestor also enjoyed the meal. Right now, he ate the crystal core, like a peanut, one on the left, one on the right. His life was even more comfortable than that of a tycoon, who was afraid of too much money. Moreover, these variant crystal nucleus were useful to Long Fei. Its energy could cause a person's cultivation to increase explosively in an instant, and without any side effects. In this year's Academy competition, Dao Feng and the others would definitely need this type of crystal core. And then there was that. If this kind of variant crystal nuclei shone brilliantly in the Academy competition, Long Fei could seize the opportunity to have the Fengyuan Merchant Union hold a separate auction. This would allow the Fengyuan Merchant Union to raise their reputation and increase their influence in the God Emperor city. These 1,000 more variant crystal nuclei were simply not enough, not to mention the fact that there was still a large group of hungry shadow soldiers within the death-calling God Seal. Long Fei really wanted to give him one. 8 billion crystal cores. When Long Fei heard the words of the Yanhuang ancestor, he replied, "Ancestor, there's food at home, so there's no need to panic. What happened to me? I have more than 1,000 ghost soldiers to eat and a ghost eater to eat. Do you think I can stop suffering? Can I stop suffering? If you have the guts, don't eat it." Yanhuang ancestor's eyes froze for a moment, then laughed out loud. "Brat, you are better than everyone else. It's just an old saying. There is no mistake. You can just suffer a little more. As for the happiness, leave it to us." Long Fei was speechless. Now it was he who wanted to give the ancestor a few ruthless kicks. However, he also knew that the old ancestor's power was growing stronger, and he needed more energy to cultivate. Even though the old ancestor had been eating, he had been cultivating as well. In the Hell Core, most of the resources the ancestor ate were allocated to these ghost soldiers for cultivation. Otherwise, it would be impossible for these ghost soldiers to break through so quickly. Just as Long Fei and the Yanhuang ancestor was talking, the sky suddenly darkened as a strong power engulfed everything. See, Dragon King shouted loudly, "Everyone, be careful!" The Azure Dragon ancestor quickly replied, "Boss, the power of the divine retribution's backlash. This Transu Empire is a special space which is supported by the divine tribulation's force of variation. Now that the power has collapsed, the power of the divine retribution's backlash followed. I'm afraid. I'm afraid. I'm afraid all of us will die here. Unless..." Chapter 867. I Want to Blast Its Chrysanthemum. Chapter 867. I Want to Blast Its Chrysanthemum. This was a special space where the supporting power disappeared. Its antiphasic force was activated. Even the Transu Emperor didn't know about this move. So if he were to kill Long Fei, he wouldn't be able to leave this place either, and would similarly be devoured by the backlash. See, Dragon King anxiously said, "Azure Dragon, at what time is it?" "Stop nagging." The Blood Dragon added, "That's right. Big Brother Azure Dragon. Hurry up. We won't be able to take it any longer." The descent of the sky became more and more intense, the crushing power becoming stronger and stronger. This kind of power was even more powerful than the power that erupted from Transu's body, because space itself was shrinking. The Green Dragon ancestor said, "The Yuan Long once said, the Transu Empire is a special space. After killing the Transu Emperor, there is still a powerful backlash coming from the Transu Emperor." I didn't think that this would be the anaphasic force that he was talking about. "Can you stop talking nonsense? I can't take it anymore," Golden Dragon Master urged, and said, "Tell boss what to do." Long Fei's expression tightened, and said straightforwardly, "Just tell me what you want me to do." Green Dragon Ancestor said, "Break through the sky? It's the only way." As soon as Green Dragon Ancestor finished his sentence, Sea Dragon King turned his body and rushed forward. The powerful Sea Dragon King power burst forth, forming a conical force. Rumble! The sky exploded, and his power was instantly devoured. It was completely useless. Sea Dragon King was the strongest amongst the dragon ancestors, but in the face of the backlash from the calamity, he was like an ant, not even able to withstand a single blow. Holy SH*T. It's not moving at all. How can it be broken through? Big Brother Azure Dragon, are you joking? The Blood Dragon said, as it watched Sea Dragon King being pushed back. Their scalps tingled. Was he going to die here before the calamity even arrived? Long Fei looked at the system, turned Yen Long into God for a little longer. The idea in his heart moved, searched for a bit, then stepped forward and said, "Let me." Long Fei's flame dragon shook slightly. He rushed up and stared at the descending tribulation anaphasic force, and thought to himself, "Yuan Long, you predicted everything right? 6 million years ago, when you were in the Dragon Head Qianquan map, you knew that I would devour you. I won't be possessed by you, right? It should be the same in Transu Empire, right? Otherwise, you wouldn't have bet everything on me." What Long Fei had just heard from the green dragon ancestor had made him think about many things. It was as if nothing could escape the Yuan Long's prophecy. Dragon Body Tomb. The Sea Dragon King was unconvinced of him, and everything was within his expectations. It was as if everything had been arranged. Long Fei was unable to resist this kind of power, but he understood clearly in his heart whether it is the Yuan Long or the great prophecy. In short, my life is not up to me, let alone your Yuan Long. Even the heavens would not be able to control my Long Fei's fate. Ah! Long Fei roared, and all the power in his body burst forth. Flame Dragon Break! Roar! With a loud bang, a powerful fireball was released from the flame dragon's body. It was pushed out in a wave and smashed into the sky, causing the sky to sink and caving in. Long Fei roared again. Flame Dragon Break! Boom! Another huge fireball charged forward. Fire Dragon Break! The third! Fire Dragon Break! The fourth! Bang, bang, bang! Boom, 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 boom! Super fireballs exploded in a single spot, and the sky caved in. But the anaphasic force did not break. Long Fei shouted to the patriarchs behind him, "Follow closely, I want to break through it." Sea Dragon King was startled and immediately followed. The dragons followed. Long Fei moved a little, and the incomparably gigantic flame dragon immediately charged forward, smashing into the ball of flames ruthlessly. It raised its head and roared hysterically, "Break for me!" Slash! The sky split open, and a force broke through the void. Long Fei's 2 giant dragon eyes opened wide, and an even more powerful force burst out. "Break for me!" Rumble! Breaking through the curtain of the sky with his entire body, it was as if he had broken through the first heaven. The scene was incomparably shocking. All the dragons followed behind Long Fei, looking at his back. All of the dragon patriarchs felt their hearts clench. Boss! He was incomparably impressed. They thought that they were incomparably powerful, that no one would be able to stop them other than through the storm, which was why they were so arrogant. However, the Transu Emperor gave them a fierce slap, let them know how weak and how lowly they are. If not for their boss, none of them would have been able to leave this place alive. At this moment, their hearts were stronger than ever. They had always been waiting for Long Fei to go to the open dragon domain, then recover their strength and sit back and enjoy the success. They were wrong. They realized that they had made a mistake, and even realized that they were facing a catastrophe in the same way. They were blaming themselves in their hearts. He had to become stronger. He had to become stronger. He absolutely couldn't let today's matter repeat itself. They definitely could not lower their heads to a tribulation. Lowering your head to divinity? Absolutely not. Long Fei had made them different, made them more determined, because Long Fei was truly very strong. This kind of feeling of admiration towards someone was something that Yuan Long couldn't give. Long Fei rushed out from the backlash of the calamity. Sea Dragon King followed closely behind him, and the other dragon ancestors all rushed out one after another. Walala! Deep in the sea, Long Fei and the 14th dragon ancestor rushed out together. The instant they rushed out, the Transu Empire behind them, which had been quiet for more than 6 million years, shrunk unceasingly. In the end, like a grain of sand, it released a bright light and disappeared forever. Long Fei's heart sank. Damn, it's too dangerous. Is this the power of the storm? In the past, they had only heard about the dragonkind's calamity from the mouth of the green dragon, but what exactly was it? Just how powerful was the power of tribulation? He did not know, but now he knew. If the power of this catastrophe was so terrifying, then what would a true catastrophe look like? Compared to 3,330,000 years ago, 5 years from now, the apocalypse would be far more powerful and ferocious. Long Fei's mind tensed up. Seems like I really have to speed up. 5 years. I only have 5 years. Long Fei secretly clenched his fists. It was also at this time. His eyes froze as a powerful aura slowly approached them. Long Fei immediately saw that familiar voice, giant beast under deep sea, that giant demon that sent them into the Transu was also the Nether King's sea demon. F***CK. I've said it before. One day you will fall into my hands. Long Fei grinned excitedly. Dragon Ancestor, listen up, surround it. I'm going to burst its chrysanthemum. Chapter 868. My guy only uses it to swat girls. Chapter 868. My guy only uses it to swat girls, swear it. He had to get back at them. Looking at the giant beast under deep sea once again, Long Fei's old flame burst out, pointing at the gigantic giant beast under deep sea, but was still tiny in front of the dragon patriarch. He roared out, "Hold him, I'm going to destroy it." Boom, boom. At this moment, the true whirlpool of giant beast under deep sea was bombarding something. It was as though a few of the powerhouse S were smashed to pieces by his bombardment, and he had an arrogant and tyrannical expression on his face. Suddenly, it felt like it was being stared at by dozens of pairs of eyes. He raised his eyes slightly, and his body suddenly shrunk. His body instantly began to tremble, and he started to feel afraid. Sea Dragon King roared out, "Our boss wants to see you. Are you coming over yourself? Or do you want us to take action?" The 14th dragon ancestor surrounded him in the middle, deadly. He simply did not have any chance to escape, and he did not dare to flee either. He had never been this afraid before. This scene, too overbearing, just like a bunch of bosses staring at a little scoundrel. If you dare to act smug again, I'll immediately kill you. The giant beast under deep sea had no choice at all. The giant beast under deep sea trembled and slowly walked towards that flame dragon. Ding! The time for the flame dragon to transform into a shrine is over. With the fall of the system beep, Long Fei instantly transformed back into his real face-like body. The giant beast under deep sea recognized Long Fei with a single glance. She was startled for a moment. Then her eyes flashed with astonishment. At the same time, she was a little angry. In his entire life, the thing he was least afraid of was humans. In this sea and hell, he was invincible and was the god that ruled. He wasn't afraid of any humans at all. When the giant beast under deep sea saw Long Fei, its heart changed and its expression became somewhat cruel. However, without waiting for his reaction, Sea Dragon King's huge tail waved and formed a palm. A palm struck down. Pa! Instantly, he slapped the giant beast under deep sea to the ground. Sea Dragon King rebuked angrily, "You dare to be disrespectful to my lord. Are you seeking death?" Without waiting for him to stand up, the Blood Dragon King's huge tail slapped down once again. "Pa!" Blood Dragon Ancestor shouted. "Are you tired of living?" "Pa!" patriarch ghost dragon was also stunned. Do you know who he is? Our boss dares to even touch our boss. Have you ever thought about the consequences? Pa! Black dragon ancestor was also the fiercest one. You punk, get cocky again. The giant beast under deep sea did not even have the chance to retaliate and was directly beaten to death by the 14th dragon ancestor. Furthermore, they did not even have the slightest bit of temper to fight back, which was simply too unbearable. He never got up from the ground. He had never suffered so much in his life. When Sea Dragon King and the others made their move, huge waves rolled on the surface of the sea in Hell's Sea. With a move of their dragon tail, a huge wave that was 30,000 meters long swept over. The entire sea in Hell seemed to be roaring. A few magic tribe's faces were pale. They were shaken by the flames released by the sea in Hell, causing their sea of consciousness to churn, unable to withstand the impact force. No way. No, we can't take it. He's even stronger than that fellow in Death Gate. What kind of monsters are in this sea in Hell? Lord Sea Demon, if this goes on, we won't be able to take it. Messenger of Magic Master was unable to resist the shock wave released by the sea in Hell. The sea demon that was floating in the air emitted a thick demonic flame from his body. His eyebrows were tightly locked as he stared at the depths of sea in Hell. This power, what kind of monster is it? They could not pass through the Death Gate and could not enter it at all. However, just the eruption of such a powerful force was enough to prove that the fellow in the sea was not simple. Even he, the Sea Devil, found it difficult to resist. Messenger of Magic Master wanted to enter the sea in Hell to find Long Fei. Completing the mission given to him by the Master of Magic Tribe, he brought Long Fei to the Demon City. But now, they couldn't even enter the Death Gate, and just now they made a huge, rumbling sound deep within the sea in Hell. That aura of power was something they had never felt before, and now it was a massive wave that was 30,000 meters long. Its strength and aura were extremely terrifying, and it simply wasn't able to withstand it. If they did not retreat now, they were afraid that they would die here. The sea demon frowned and said solemnly, "Retreat. Return to the Endless City. If that brat from the Long family comes out, he will definitely return to the Endless City." The sea demons were also worried that they would die here. He made a decision on the spot. 5 figures suddenly descended and returned to the Endless City. Deep under the sea. Long Fei carried the water-repelling pearl on his body, and as if he was walking on dry land, he looked at the dazzling golden light emitted by the giant beast under deep sea in the turbid ocean. He leisurely walked forward. Standing in front of the giant beast under deep sea, he said with a cold smile, "I said before, I will definitely take revenge. You almost crippled me yesterday. That's not right. My Emperor incarnation was directly destroyed." When Long Fei thought about the scene of Emperor's body splitting apart and all of the bones in his body fracturing, the fury in his heart surged. Seeing that Long Fei no longer dared to be disrespectful, the giant beast under deep sea directly kneeled on the ground and started begging and started mumbling nonsense. Long Fei did not understand either. Sea Dragon King replied, "This guy said he's innocent too. He's responsible for protecting the Death Gate and does not allow anyone to enter. He had no choice but to blast you into the whirlpool and begged you to spare his life." F***CK. Did you say that you had no choice? You said that if I spare your life, I'll spare yours? Have you thought about Emperor? Have you thought about how nearly I was killed by you? Long Fei would not be merciful just because of someone else's begging. That was not his style. The most important point was that this giant beast under deep sea was a golden boss. How could it not kill it? Was that worthy of him? Was he worthy of the system? The giant beast under deep sea's body trembled pitifully. Actually, he was the underworld sovereign who knew how many people he had killed in his life and how many fishing boats he had overturned. In the hearts of the fishermen in Endless City, it was a demon. Longface shouted, "Hold him!" The 14th dragon ancestor immediately moved, pressing the giant beast under deep sea firmly to the ground. The corner of Longface's mouth lifted into a pleased cold smile, and said, "If you meet me, then accept your fate." The sky-burning dragon gun in his hand fiercely stabbed into the chrysanthemum of the giant beast under deep sea. If he said that his chrysanthemum would be destroyed, then his chrysanthemum would definitely be destroyed. Funtion forced out, "Have you considered my feelings before?" Longfei laughed. "You don't feel good about having chrysanthemums?" Burning heaven, "If you have the guts, use your own guy to blow up his ass." Longfei laughed. "My guy only dares girls." The bullets exploded one by one. Looking at the last bit of HP on the giant beast under deep sea's head, "Explode for me." Chapter 869, Shocking Scene. Chapter 869, Shocking Scene, boom. The chrysanthemum exploded, and his health fell to 0. The system sounded out a notification sound. Longfei checked his striking energy value and felt a burst of regret in his heart. The feeling of not having striking energy value is really bad. Ding! Congratulations to player Longfei for killing Underworld King Giant Demon for obtaining 20,000 experience, 800 power of celestial points, and 1 energy values point. Congratulations to player Longfei for obtaining Nether King's Sea God's Blood. Congratulations to player Longfei for obtaining Giant Demon Blood Vein. You wish to fuse it? Congratulations to player Longfei for obtaining Underworld King Giant Demon Clone, which can automatically be added to the Beast Transformation Mode system. As the 4 notifications beeped, the system no longer sent out any notifications. Longfei paused for a moment and said bitterly, "Such a valiant boss. Nothing dropped. System your ass. Don't you know how miserable I am, with an old foodie and more than 1,000 ghost soldiers to feed? You will die if you give me more?" An item. Not a single item was dropped, other than a few blood veins. After all, this was a super boss, and the drop rate for those who didn't use striking energy value was that low? Was her character that bad? Longfei had the urge to cry. The only consolation he had was probably the explosion of the King of Hell's Ocean God's blood, because it could be considered as completion of the alchemy mission. "Your baby is suffering." Longfei sighed in his heart and said inwardly, "I had originally wanted to borrow the Transu Empire's treasure to make a fortune, but who would have thought that I couldn't even get a piece of dog shit? Some treasure of an empire. Some treasure of an empire. And I didn't even see a shadow of a person. The entire Transu Empire had already disappeared. After escaping, he encountered another boss. He thought that this would be a turning point in his life. He should be able to drop something, but nothing. Longfei was in too much of a mess. However, although he didn't get the Transu's treasure this time, he earned a lot of money. Humans were never satisfied by greed. Longfei was the same. Sigh. Longfei sighed in his heart. Seems like I still have to participate in the pill competition. If not, I would be sitting on nothing, and these variant crystal nuclei would be eaten up by the ancestors sooner or later. Longfei was not worried about the variant crystal nuclei. What he was worried about was that after the Yen Huang ancestor finished all the variant crystal nuclei, she would attack his mutated monarch set. 18 sets of overlord equipment. How cool. He did not act tough even once, and did not attract any chicks at all. How could he let Yen Huang ancestor eat him? Not even if he was beaten to death. Boom. A few minutes later, Longfei rushed out of the water. 14 dragon patriarchs rose to the surface as well. Longfei slightly said, "You guys are too ostentatious like this. Why not enter your bodies first?" This was the territory of the Western Devil Lord. If they were to be discovered by the Master of Magic tribe, they would definitely not be able to hold back. In terms of the current situation, Longfei didn't want to mess with this big boss. So why did he say that it was a boss? Not just Western Devil Lord. Also, the supreme god of the Palace Question of God is also a big boss. Because of Song Chanqian's sudden appearance, the big boss in Longfei's heart had another name, Dark Domain Lord Song Qiancheng. Although Longfei had never seen this guy before, he should be the same as the supreme god and the Western Devil Lord. They were all here for the Dragon Domain. This was the three great bosses in Longfei's heart. He could also be considered the strongest three great leaders in the gods' martial continent. He hadn't even become a top powerhouse yet, so it was best for him to keep a low profile before going against them. Moreover, under the Green Dragon Ancestor's instigation, Dragon Ancestor, and the others definitely won't easily help Longfei. According to him, there are no shortcuts in cultivation, and you can only rely on yourself to walk out one step at a time. Although Longfei despised those words, he also wanted to walk his own path, step by step. Boom! With a whoosh sound, the Green Dragon Ancestor turned into a shadow and fiercely rushed into Longfei's body, returning to the inside of the Green Dragon tripod. Next, the Black Dragon swung its massive tail. Boom! He entered Longfei's Dragon Salyer. The 8 golden dragons moved at the same time and dispersed throughout Longfei's entire body. Boom! Ghost Dragon entered his body. Boom! Poisonous dragon feathers. Sea Dragon King trembled slightly as he stared at Longfei and said, "Boss, I'm here." Suddenly, Longfei seemed to have thought of something and said, "Sea Dragon King, wait a moment." Sea Dragon King could not stop the car and asked, "What's wrong? Boss, is there no space in your body?" He was really afraid of that. During this period of time, fighting together with the Azure Dragon and the others reminded him of the past. When they were still ignorant of the young dragons, the battle of life and death made him think of life and death together. And now he felt like that again. He wanted to be together with them. Longfei said, "What do you mean there's no space in my body? It's not like I'm in a parking lot. I asked you to give me a drop of your blood essence." The blood essence of the Sea Dragon King was the one that had unlocked the second layer of the Dragon Domain's heart. Longfei would always remember this in his heart. After returning to the God Emperor Academy, he would definitely study it thoroughly and plan out the path he would take. The gods' martial continent's 3 great bosses pressed down on his heart. The secret of the Dragon Domain. The secret behind the Long family's disappearance. Furthermore, Longfei had to take care of the calamities of the dragon race as well. He needed to know all of these. Sea Dragon King was shocked and said, "I thought your body was already full. If you wanted blood essence, say it earlier. Look how scared I am." Sea Dragon King condensed a drop of blood essence, and the blood essence landed on Longfei's palm, and he stored it among the space ring. It was also at this time. Rumble! Sea Dragon King entered Longfei's body forcefully and charged into his body. He shouted excitedly, "Brothers, I'm coming!" Sea Dragon King was truly relegated. At this moment, in another area, a few hundred km apart in the ocean. The sea monster's eyes trembled as its entire body trembled. It excitedly asked, "Did you see it clearly? Did you see it clearly? How many? How many?" The messenger of Magic Master beside him also had an incomparably astonished expression. Looking at everything that was happening in the distance, he did not dare believe it, and his lips trembled as he said, 10, 14, 14, 14 huge dragons. Dragon race, they are all dragons. Could it be that the dragon domain has opened? Dragons were strong creatures in everyone's heart. Ever since the dragon domain disappeared, there were no more such giant dragons. It was as if they had forever disappeared. However, their fear and respect for the dragon had never disappeared. On the contrary, because the longer the dragon domain disappeared, the more respect they felt for the dragon. The sudden appearance of 14 huge dragons caused their hearts to pound as they watched the 14 gigantic dragons charge into a person's body. Their hearts were almost unable to withstand the pressure. It was too shocking. Wait for me at Endless City. I will immediately report it to the Master of Magic tribe. Chapter 870, Little Beauty, You're Finally Back. Chapter 870, Little Beauty, You're Finally Back. Sea Dragon King, you are senior and are the second general of God's martial continent. Your strength is only inferior to the Yuan Long, but you are a newbie here. So, we have to rearrange the rankings. The Blood Dragon said, seriously. Sea Dragon King said, slightly. Blood Dragon, do you want to redraw the rankings? Come, let's go out and have a chat alone. The Blood Dragon ancestor immediately became listless and said, Sea Dragon King, you are a barbarian. Don't use force so easily. Sea Dragon King said, of course. If you are unconvinced, we can settle it by force. F***CK. You really are a bore, I won't tell you. Blood Dragon ancestor immediately did not speak. He wasn't a match for the two of them. Do you think that the Second Great War of the Dragon Domain was called for nothing? All the dragons began to roar with laughter. Ha ha ha. Poisonous ancestor giggled. Sea Dragon King, if you have the guts, let me smack you with my ass first. I'll fight with you. Sea Dragon King arrogantly said, Old Poison, do you believe that I won't slap your ass out of your mouth? Ha ha ha. Another burst of laughter. The atmosphere was really good. Green Dragon ancestor coughed and said, stop messing around. There are some things that you need to talk about. The Azure Dragon was a schemer. As soon as his words fell, everyone quieted down. Green Dragon ancestor said, we are already clear about how weak our boss is when we travel to Transu. In the past, we thought boss was very weak, so weak that he couldn't even withstand a single blow. The truly weak one is us, so we still have 5 more years to go. In these 5 years, we have to use everything we have to cultivate and break through. And before the Dragon Domain opens, we have to make ourselves strong enough to defend against this tribulation. This might be our last chance. Not this time. We will never be able to turn the situation around. Everyone fell silent. They weren't even able to withstand the force of variation of the tribulation that the Transu S had transcended. If it was true calamity's power, they would have been killed instantly without even thinking. Back then, if it wasn't for the Yuan Long keeping them here, they are dead now. This time, if they failed again, then they really wouldn't have a chance to turn the situation around. The Green Dragon ancestor continued to speak. Also, Sea Dragon King, you can't tell boss about the matters of the Dragon Domain, the Dragon Race, or the Long family. Let him solve it step by step. Dragon Domain also needs him to personally go and open it. We can't help him. And even more so, we can't take him along shortcuts because this is his path. Sea Dragon King nodded and said, I understand. The Green Dragon ancestor knew that there were many differences between the current Long Fei and the previous Yuan Long. Long Fei had to walk his own path. Thus, there were many times when they wouldn't care about Long Fei's life or death because the limit was already being used to break it. What was Long Fei's limit? Until now, they still had not discovered the extent of Long Fei's limit. They thought that Long Fei was not Dryad King's match, that Dryad King had been viciously killed. They thought that Long Fei would not be able to withstand the Sea Dragon King's 3 moves, but Long Fei did. They thought that Long Fei was not a match for Transu Emperor, but Long Fei had almost insta-killed him. The Azure Dragon couldn't be seen at all. If the Green Dragon ancestor had let Long Fei escape while they were still Dryad King, they would not have been able to see what happened afterwards. Thus, they knew this. Long Fei's path would definitely be his own. They could not interfere. Green Dragon ancestor muttered in his heart, "Boss, you only have 5 years, only 5 years. The fate of the dragon race is in your hands. Moreover, the fate of Long family is also in your hands. To the Dragon Clan, this is a tribulation that lasts for 3,330,000 years. It is also a tribulation that lasts for your Long family. Boss, you have to become stronger as soon as possible." Long Fei could not hear the meetings of the dragon ancestors. However, he knew clearly in his heart that he would have to walk his own path in the future. The Azure Dragon wouldn't help, and neither would Sea Dragon King. The limit, only in the desperate situations of life and death could he continuously break through. 5 days later at Endless City's port. Huff. Long Fei took a deep breath. "I'm finally back. I almost lost my life." Long Fei jumped down from a small, dilapidated fishing boat that still leaked water. He held Song Qianqian's hand with his left, while his right hand pulled Ling Long and the other 2 to land. The 2 of them recovered very quickly, fast to the point that even Long Fei was jealous. This was also because of the blood veins' power within their bodies. One was the primordial profound female blood vein, and the other was a vein of ancient rosefinch. Both of them possessed incomparable strength of blood vein, which made Long Fei urge in his heart, "Ancestor, my blood vein, you ate my crystal core, deity crystal, can you do something to me?" Yen Huang ancestor coughed a few times and said, "Brat, why are you in such a hurry? Don't you know how difficult it is to work slowly?" Long Fei said, "Look at them. They are all powerful blood vein. I want them too. Pan Sheng's Pan Gu bloodline." These ancient superfamilies were all passed down through powerful blood vein-s. If not, they would not be able to get up from the ground after being suppressed by the Long family this time. With the rise of the Pan family, more and more superfamilies would appear, and these superfamilies would come to suppress the Long family. All of them were high-level blood vein-s, holy vein-s, ancient blood vein-s. Long Fei wanted them too, Yen Huang ancestor said. "Don't worry, it won't be long before it'll be completed." "That's what you said." Long Fei immediately said. Yen Huang ancestor disdainfully said, "Damn, you still don't believe in my ability?" Long Fei said, "Do you want to hear the truth?" Yen Huang ancestor said, "Speak." Long Fei said, "I don't really believe. I only believe that you can eat." Yen Huang ancestor's body sank, as if he was struck by lightning. Long Fei asked, "What's wrong with you?" Yen Huang ancestor said, "My liver hurts. I don't want to talk to you." Long Fei grinned and did not speak any further. Actually, Long Fei also knew in his heart that there were some things that couldn't be rushed. The matter of the blood vein would definitely shock him, and he was also incomparably looking forward to it. Long Fei walked to the entrance of the Endless City and said, "Both of you are still recovering. Rest in the city for a day, and return to the God Emperor Academy tomorrow." At the entrance of the city, in the restaurant, the vulgar man with the harpoon sat at the window. He was the one who sat at the same seat as Song Qianqian previously, but now this seat had already been reserved by him. He looked at the city gate and murmured, "My little beauty, where did you go?" Suddenly, his eyes flashed with a bright light. "Little beauty." Chapter 871, Drunkenness Wine. Chapter 871, Drunkenness Wine. quickly go to the city lord's mansion and get someone." When the vulgar man saw Long Fei, his eyes flashed with a cold light. The last time he was sent flying by Long Fei, he had to get back at him. He believed that he would definitely not let Long Fei escape this time. Let's eat something here first. I'm really hungry." Long Fei walked into the tavern and shouted at the shopkeeper, "Bring all the dishes you have." It was also at this time he walked to Song Qianqian's side and asked in concern, "Little beauty, did he do anything to you?" Without waiting for Song Qianqian to speak, Long Fei took a step forward and instantly slapped him. "You look too ugly. It affects my appetite. Get out." "Pa!" With a slap, the man was sent flying out of the tavern and smashed into the street, causing him to fall flat on his face. Long Fei's eyes were wide open as he stared at the lackeys and said, "Should I do it? Or should you guys do it yourselves?" He attacked without saying a word. Long Fei didn't give the vulgar man a chance to react at all. Those lackeys didn't dare to resist. In Endless City, they were local serpents, but a fierce dragon was just like a river. Even local serpents like them couldn't defend against them. A few underlings immediately jumped out of the window. Coincidentally, just as the man was getting up, he smashed down, pressing the man firmly onto the ground. My waist. This is so painful." Long Fei did not pay attention to him and said, "Boss, what are you daydreaming for? Quickly order the dishes. I'm going to faint from hunger." The innkeeper was startled and immediately urged, "Quick, quick, serve the dishes to this lord." He was also afraid of Long Fei. All the customers in the tavern left in a mere minute because they knew the identity of the vulgar man. He was the nephew of the Endless City's city lord, and also the tyrant of the Endless City. None of the people who provoked him had a good ending. If they didn't turn into a cripple, they would be beaten to death. A few kind-hearted people said to Long Fei, "Young lad, stop eating and quickly leave the city. If you're late, you won't be able to leave." Youngsters nowadays are too impetuous. They don't even think about the consequences. If they attack without a word, it's easy to get into trouble when you're young. Long Fei only smiled faintly and did not pay any attention to him. After floating in the sea for 5 days, he was now so hungry that his chest was pressed against his back. Even if the sky collapsed, he still had to fill his stomach. Song Qianqian and Ling Long also needed to recover their stamina. The best way to recover physical strength was to replenish energy and eat. Seeing that Long Fei did not listen to them, the few kind-hearted people did not dare to stay any longer and quickly left the tavern. Outside the tavern, the vulgar man cursed loudly, "Brat, today you're dead for sure. You tried to steal my woman, but you didn't ask around in the Endless City to find out who I am." Without waiting for the man to finish, Long Fei flung the chicken bone in his mouth with his right hand and used the technique literally flying dagger. Pa! It directly shot into the vulgar man's mouth and once again flipped him over. Long Fei's cold voice came out and said, "If you let me hear your voice again, I won't be flying like a chicken bone." Long Fei tore off a piece of chicken leg and started to wolf it down. While he was wolfing down his food, there was still a group of people in the room. Messenger of Magic Master slightly said, "Master Sea Demon, he is that brat from Long family named Long Fei." When they came back from the sea, they had been waiting for Long Fei at Endless City. The moment Long Fei had landed on the shore, they had known and was sure that Long Fei would come to Endless City. They were waiting here. He is an esteemed guest of the Master of Magic tribe. While they were talking, the sea demon waved his right hand and said, "Bring him a bottle of good wine. Consider it a small gift." Messenger of Magic Master took the wine pot and asked, "Master, what wine is this?" Sea Demon grinned and said, "Drunken God wine." The Messenger of Magic Master was startled, but immediately followed up with an excited laugh. "Understood." And then Messenger of Magic Master did not personally send the wine, but rather stayed in the backyard to be served by an assistant. Big fish and big meat, you must have wine. Otherwise, how boring would it be? Wine, 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 Longfei shouted. As the drunken god wine was served, Longfei drank it all without thinking. The wine was burning hot like a flame from his throat all the way to his stomach, causing his stomach to churn violently. Longfei's face was completely red. His nose and ears were filled with anger. Damn, this wine? Isn't it too fierce? Gudong, gudong. After continuously pouring it into his stomach, his mouth felt like it was about to burst into flames. It was as if his entire body was rolling in the flames. It was an indescribably comfortable and relaxing feeling. Longfei roared out, "Do you still have more wine like that? 10 more jars." Plop! The sea demon in the room almost fell off her chair as her face paled. Is this guy crazy? The raw materials for the drunken god wine were extremely precious. Just a small pot like this would cost a single immortal crystal, but Longfei was stuffy over it. This was something that could even make a god drunk. It was something that could only be done with a single drop. Longfei was actually like a completely fine person. Even the kaiju himself couldn't take it. Messenger of Magic Master slightly asked, "Master, what do we do?" "I want to see how long you can last." Finished. He took out another 10 flasks of drunken god wine. These were his last 10 flasks, and each jug was equivalent to his lifeline. In order to bring Longfei into the demon city, he would risk it all. Messenger of Magic Master brought down the 10 jugs of wine, causing the sea demon's heart to ache. Holy sh*T. This wine is so good. Longfei picked up the wine pot and poured it in, the kind of energy that would make his entire body clash, absorbing everything in his body crazily. It was as if he was constantly breaking through his limits. It had to be said that this feeling was very exciting. Longfei was not an idiot. He naturally knew that this kind of divine wine could not be found in such a small place. There had to be someone here, although he didn't know who it was. But since there was such a good wine, wouldn't he just waste it to show his own worth? Other than that, every time Longfei drank the drunken god wine, the system would send a notification sound. Ding! System notification. Player Longfei has become 10% more drunk. Ding! System notification. Player Longfei has become 10% more drunk. A single pot of wine was equivalent to an increase of 10%. If he were to reach 100%, what would happen? Something must have come out. Longfei dared to guarantee that the system would not make a sound for no reason. And this strong alcohol was filled with dense energy. Just the smell of the wine made Song Qianqian and Linglong a little drunk. Song Qianqian secretly locked the space between his brows and said, "Longfei, there's something wrong with the wine." Linglong also noticed it and said, "This wine has a special smell and is not made from ordinary grains. Senior brother, drink slowly." The two of them also discovered some clues. Longfei laughed and did not stop. He drank the 11th jug of wine. The system sounded out a notification sound. Longfei shouted excitedly, "Coming!" Ding! Chapter 872, Wine God Title. Chapter 872, Wine God Title. The system would not sound out a notification for no reason. There must be a reason. After using the system for a few years, Longfei was very clear on this point. He poured the 10th pot of drunken wine into his stomach, but did not trigger it. He only increased his drunkenness to 100%. The 11th jug of wine entered his stomach. The system sounded out, "Ding! Congratulations to player Longfei for reaching 200% drunkenness. Congratulations to player Longfei for obtaining the title of Wine God." You have received 10,000 experience points, 1,000 power of celestial points, and 1,000 points as a special reward. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Divine Awakened Fist. Do you wish to learn it? As expected, through the system, Long Fei found a title on top of his head, Wine God. Cultivate. Long Fei moved his body and started practicing the intoxicated divine fist. He was completely awake now, just like a normal person, except he was currently in a state of intoxication that others would not be able to detect. The messenger of Magic Master said, slightly, Lord Sea Demon, he's fine. Is there a problem with your wine? Impossible. I personally made every single pot of Drunken God wine. There shouldn't be any problems. I can only make 1 cup at a time. If he doesn't die from drinking 11 bottles of Drunken God wine, he will be drunk for at least 10 days to half a month. Messenger of Magic Master asked, then why does he look like a person who is fine? The sea demon recalled the scene of the 14 dragon tribes entering his body from the sea. His eyebrows tightened. The dragon's power must have been neutralized by the dragon's power. All right then. In that case, we'll rob them. The sea demons had no other choice. He had originally wanted to use a less troublesome method to bring Long Fei to the demon city, but now it seemed that he could only be dealt with by force. However, when the sea demon thought about the scene of 14th dragon ancestor entering Long Fei's body, his heart grew cold. How can he be an opponent? Just as they were thinking about how to take Long Fei to the demon city, a series of loud noises came from the streets of Endless City. Endless City bodyguards rushed over. His aura shook the heavens. The man's anger flared up, and he shouted, Here, here! Uncle! He's here. When the army of guards arrived, the vulgar man became even more unrestrained. He shouted complacently at Long Fei, who was in the tavern, You dog, today, your father, want your life. Shwa! A chopstick pierced through the void and pierced through the vulgar man's throat. The man spat out his eyes as he clutched his throat, blood gushing out from his mouth. He fell to the ground and twitched his legs a few times. Dead. 1-hit kill. The system sounded out. Long Fei did not care about it, but was secretly shocked. Damn, the title of Wine God actually has the effect of increasing power. The strength from earlier was clearly stronger than before. Once the vulgar man died, the few lackeys beside him were so scared that their legs turned to jelly, and they started shouting for help. City Lord, the young master is dead. The young master is dead. When a pot-bellied middle-aged man saw his nephew lying in a pool of blood, all hope went out of him. He immediately became furious and shouted, Cut him into 10,000 pieces. Kill him. In the tavern, Song Qian suddenly stood up. Ling Long also stood up. The corner of Long Fei's mouth curled up slightly, and he laughed lightly. You guys eat slowly. I just so happen to see how strong the fist techniques that I had just comprehended are. Finished. Without waiting for the guards to rush in, Long Fei's figure blurred. Rumble. The guards who rushed up to the tavern's entrance were all rushed out by him alone. Drunken God fist. Long Fei tilted his body as though he was falling on the ground and suddenly punched out. The power of this punch was extremely strong. In that moment, all the strength in his body circulated to a point, and with one move, his entire body moved. His strength broke through the air, and a single punch was enough to kill him. Bam! A guard was sent flying hundreds of meters away, his internal organs all shattered. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Endless City Guard for obtaining 1,000 EXP, 100 power of celestial, and 10 energy values. Sharp! Long Fei shouted these 2 words, and then threw out another punch. Another instant kill. Long Fei was now at the 8th stage of the virtual immortals. Adding the power in the intoxicated state, coupled with the power of the intoxicated God Fist, he struck his fist out explosively. Facing these spiritual level guards, they were all instantly killed. All of a sudden, corpses flew everywhere. Long Fei's drunk figure continued to travel back and forth. In the box, the messenger of Magic Master was stunned as he muttered, "Lord Sea Demon, can your wine still increase its power? Why haven't I seen you increase your strength before?" The Sea Demon's heart was filled with endless bitterness. "Leave. I don't want to talk to you." This was too much of a blow. It was obviously the wine he brewed, but he actually didn't know that the drunken god wine had this kind of effect. He brewed it onto dogs based on his own brewing method. At the same time, the Sea Demon watched as Long Fei went berserk all the way, and the space between his eyebrows tightened. This is a good opportunity to control those two women downstairs. A few magic tribe immediately stood up. Messenger of Magic Master also instantly frowned and said slightly, "Lord Sea Demon is also Lord Sea Demon." The Sea Demon shouted, "Cut the crap! Hurry up and do it!" In addition, one of them is Song Qianqing's adopted daughter. You guys need to be careful. Don't hurt her. She might become our young master's wife in the future. He was clear on this point. Moreover, this was something that young master Zhou Lai had specially sent someone to ask him to be careful. On the street, Long Fei threw punches randomly without any pattern or technique, without any movement. It was simply the intoxicated divine fist. Endless City's guards were completely disintegrated by his barrage. Long Fei stared at the pot-bellied fatty and said, "Who wants to dismember my body into 1,000 pieces just now?" That fatty's face turned white as he said, "Brat, this is Endless City. It is the territory of the demon area. If you dare to act wantonly here, this master of magic tribe will not forgive you." Not waiting for him to finish, Long Fei's figure moved. "Fuck, Luo Li, stop being so annoying and just turn it into my experience." Shua. He threw a punch, sending him flying into the air. His body moved, and he leaped into the air. Both of his fists landed heavily on Yi Shiwen's head. 2 strikes. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Endless City Lord, for obtaining 12,000 experience, 200 power of celestial points, 10 energy values points. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Immortal Crystal. It would only drop a single immortal crystal. Long Fei disdained. "You poor bastard." It was also at this time. Long Fei's heart trembled. The fight just now was too fun. It caused him to forget something. The drunken god wine was definitely not given to him by the Endless City Lord. A pauper like him would never have such a good thing. Long Fei's eyes narrowed. Crap. Chapter 873, Threatening the Demon City. Chapter 873, Threatening the Demon City, the Divine Awakening Fist, was like a quick game. It was a wild, chaotic, exhilarating journey. So much so that Long Fei forgot about Song Qianqian and Ling Long. When he thought about that, he realized that Song Qianqian and Ling Long were already standing on the street, bound by 2 magic tribes. Messenger of Magic Master walked out with a faint smile, looked at Long Fei, and said, "We meet again." He was the magic tribe that appeared at Undead City last time. Long Fei's brows tightened. Looking at Song Qianqian and Ling Long, the anger in his heart instantly ignited as he coldly said, "If I were you, I would release them." Messenger of Magic Master immediately said, "Don't worry, we will definitely not hurt them, but our Master of Magic Tribe wants to see you. If you can come with us, I can guarantee with my life that nothing will happen to them." Song Qianqian immediately said, "Long Fei, you can't go." Ling Long also followed. "Senior brother, you can't go." Messenger of Magic Master's forehead turned sinister, his face darkened, and he laughed. They are all your women. You don't want to see them die here, right? Threatening me? Long Fei was unsure of what he wanted to do, and he thought to himself, Western Devil Lord wants to see me? Revenge. Impossible. If he was going to take revenge, then why did he come personally? Regardless if what the Messenger of Magic Master said was true, he could not threaten him, nor could he use the lives of the people around him to threaten him. This had already touched the bottom line in Long Fei's heart. Adding the state of being drunk, the flames of fury on Long Fei's body started to burn. Messenger of Magic Master's face froze for a moment. Thinking back to the last time, when Long Fei used that giant golden palm that descended from the sky, his heart trembled. He couldn't withstand that kind of impact. Messenger of Magic Master replied immediately, It's not a threat, but if we were to invite you over, you would definitely not agree to it. Long Fei, we did not want to hurt you, nor did Master of Magic Tribe want to hurt you. Otherwise, we would have already attacked you when you were in the Endless Mountain. The anger on Long Fei's body burned hotter and hotter. Let them go, Long Fei said gloomily, although he was afraid of Long Fei in his heart. But he was even more afraid of the punishment that the Master of Magic Tribe would give him. Seeing Long Fei's cold eyes, Messenger of Magic Master walked over to Linglong's side. His aura instantly burst forth, enveloping Linglong completely as he said, Long Fei, you are very strong, but no matter how strong you are, you will not be as fast as me. I don't want to hurt them, but if you dare to take a step forward, then I'll have to ruthlessly destroy them. His power surged like a prehistoric beast opening its bloody jaws. If Long Fei moved the slightest bit, Linglong would instantly die. Linglong shouted, Senior brother, don't worry about us. Hurry up and run. In her heart, Master of Magic Tribe was not a good person. She knew that Long Fei would definitely be injured if he entered the demon area. With Long Fei's strength, it would not be difficult for him to escape. Cluck, cluck. Long Fei clenched his teeth tightly. In his drunken state, he was extremely irritable in his heart and was unable to calm down. However, he was clear about one thing. If he were to make a move, Linglong would really die. He brought Linglong out. He also wanted to bring her back to the God Emperor Academy. Long Fei heaved a sigh of relief and said, I'll follow you, let them go. Messenger of Magic Master's heart that was hanging at his throat relaxed as cold sweat dripped down from his palms. If Long Fei were to make a move and Linglong dies, then he would probably be killed by Long Fei as well. However, he won the bet just now. Messenger of Magic Master was secretly happy. Long Fei, is this your weakness? And then the Messenger of Magic Master said, slightly, How should I trust you? Long Fei's eyes slightly narrowed and said, Long Fei, will keep my word. If I said I would go with you, I will definitely go with you. The atmosphere was extremely tense. Messenger of Magic Master's heart almost could not bear it. I don't care. The sea demon said that he definitely could not let go of Song Qianqian and Linglong, but he was a little unable to endure the pressure that was being emitted from Long Fei's body. While they were talking, Messenger of Magic Master ordered Song Qianqian to be released. Song Qianqian did not leave and said, I will exchange with her. Let her go. I will go with you. Linglong shook her head. Sister Qian, hurry up and leave with senior brother. Don't worry about me. Messenger of Magic Master shouted, It is my decision who is allowed to live. There was naturally a reason to let Song Qianqian go, and the reason was that he did not dare to do anything to Song Qianqian either. Furthermore, Song Qianqian's cultivation was very strong. If the smell of the intoxicated god wine did not cause them to sink into a state of slight intoxication, it would not have been easy for them to capture Song Qianqian. And then again, Linglong was simple and easy to control. The risk was also much smaller. Messenger of Magic Master said lightly, "I will release another one when we reach the demon city." Long Fei clenched his fists tightly. He was truly unhappy about the feeling of being threatened, very unhappy. Long Fei moved. He took a small step forward. Messenger of Magic Master immediately became nervous and said, "Long Fei, she's your little junior sister, right? You don't want to see her die here, do you?" The dark sea demons were also preparing to take action. If Long Fei dared to move, he would instantly attack. Only the few of them were left on the street, and those ordinary citizens couldn't withstand the aura being emitted from their bodies. Huff! Huff! Long Fei deeply exhaled 2 breaths. His body relaxed as he said, "All right, we'll do as you say." He had won again, and he was even more certain that the relatives around Long Fei were his fatal weakness. Messenger of Magic Master smiled and took out a pellet from his bosom. "This is a soul-sealing pellet. It will allow you to lose your power of celestial within 24 hours. There's no other way. You're too strong, so I have to be on guard." He advanced another step and once again tried to test Long Fei's bottom line. Long Fei received the soul-sealing pellet in one hand. Without even thinking, he swallowed the soul-sealing pellet, and with a voice filled with rage, he asked, "Is it okay now?" Song Qianqian simply did not have time to stop them. The soul-locking pill was a kind of magic pill. Once it entered the body, it would imprison the power of celestial. A warrior would not have any power of celestial value. So other than the body being a little stronger, he was no different from an ordinary person. However, Long Fei did not frown at all. It didn't matter if she touched him, but he could not touch the people around him. Moreover, the soul-sealing pellet, for a man with a pubis that was damaged and didn't have a power of celestial, was it useful? Even if it worked, to a person who possessed a chaos realm in their body, breaking through the soul-locking pill was an easy task. After doing all of this, the Messenger of Magic Master let out a sigh of relief. At this moment, the moment the sea demon appeared, a palm descended. Long Fei's gaze tensed up, and he did not try to dodge it. His entire body fainted from the impact. The moment he closed his eyes, a man suddenly appeared beside Song Qianqian. "Young Devil Lord, Zhou Lai." Chapter 874, Western Devil Lord. Chapter 874, Western Devil Lord. He was tricked. Was he tricked by Song Qianqian? At that moment, Long Fei did not know, but his heart was in complete chaos. However, the instant he closed his eyes, he saw the man beside Song Qianqian blocking her shoulders, and a pleased, cold smile surfaced on his face. Had he been tricked? He had lost consciousness for who knows how long. Long Fei felt his head sink, followed by a surge of powerful energy surging through his body, causing him to become clear-headed. Boom! Long Fei shook his brain. His eyes opened wide in anger. He first felt secretly. His energy flow was very normal, and he did not seal the power of celestial because of the soul-locking pill. Then he looked around at his surroundings. This was a gigantic devil palace. It was like an ancient temple with a few furious diamond gigantic demons sitting on both sides of the hall. In the middle was a giant demon that was riding on a cloud, its body filled with a thick aura of power. This was the demon palace. The statue in the hall was indeed of the Western Devil Lord. The moment Long Fei woke up, a resounding voice sounded. "You're awake?" Long Fei stood up, looked at the giant demon in the middle, and asked, "Are you talking?" Buzz. A ball of mist condensed from all directions and rapidly condensed into a face that looked exactly like the statue and said, "I am Western Devil Lord." "Oh, Long Fei said. No need to introduce yourself. You've gone through so much trouble to get me here. Just say it directly. Don't beat around the bush. The Western Devil Lord smiled and said, very straightforward. I want you to serve me. I can guarantee that you won't die. Long Fei found it somewhat funny and said, on what basis do you want me to serve you? Is it because you've brought me here? Let's get to the point. What guaranteed that he wouldn't die? Long Fei's life had never been in the hands of others. Nothing else. Just the Super Saiyan and Big Day Tashigata themselves had already cooled down. It was unknown who was the one to spare, and who was the one to not die. If Long Fei could see the real Western Devil Lord, he really wanted to give it a try. Who knows? Then again, the giant demons of the breaking through the seal were basically suppressed by the Long family back then. They hated the Long family to the bones, and definitely would not let it go. Guaranteed that he wouldn't die. This kind of words only came out from Western Devil Lord's mouth when he was trying to trick a 3-year-old child. Western Devil Lord said indifferently, back then your Long family suppressed me, suppressed countless powerhouses. I can help you settle all of these on the condition that you serve me, serve my open dragon domain. I want to obtain dragon domain's treasures. Right. Long Fei laughed. Just get to the point. Long Fei continued. On what basis can I become an open dragon domain? Do you know what's in the treasures of the dragon domain? Western Devil Lord said. You are the son of the prophecy, and only the people of the Long family can find the dragon domain and open him up. This is a prophecy that has been passed down for millions of years. As for what is inside the dragon domain's treasure deposit, I'm not sure either. Rumor has it that there are countless foreign holy artifacts and secret arts that allow one to cultivate longevity. No one has ever been to the dragon domain, and no one can explain it clearly. Western Devil Lord did not hide from him. When the Long family was playing him, not long ago when he escaped from the breaking through the seal, he had a faint feeling that the former Long family was playing a very big game of chess. And all of the central points were gathered around the Long family boy, Long Fei. What could a kid from the Virtual Immortals stage change? However, the entire god's martial continent swirled around him. He was the eye of the storm. As the Western Devil Lord, if he wanted to be in an invincible position, he had to seize the initiative. He had to control Long Fei first and step into the dragon domain first. This way, he would be able to rule over the entire god's martial continent. Outer realm holy artifact, the divine abilities and secret arts of longevity are really tempting. Long Fei was drooling, and he thought to himself, Dragon Domain really has a treasure trove. Since you said that only I can use the open Dragon Domain, do I need to be of use to you? And you even threatened me to promise me that you won't die. I'm really afraid. So what about your Western Devil Lord? Long Fei was not afraid in the slightest. So what if you're a Western Devil Lord? These words were filled with a domineering aura, as if he didn't care about them at all. Western Devil Lord trembled slightly and said, back then, I always said that Long Wushan was the most arrogant person in the world, but it seems like you are today the most arrogant person. Long Wushan was also a flying fairyland back then. He had the qualifications to be arrogant. What about you? However, the Virtual Immortal stage is already so arrogant, the people of the Long family truly do not know how high the sky is and how deep the earth is. As soon as he finished, that ball of mist became sinister. That huge face struggled fiercely as if it was about to break some shackles. He said in a gloomy voice, Aren't you afraid that I will kill you? Long Fei slightly lifted his eyes and said, I'm afraid I won't be coming. Western Devil Lord was startled. You mean? Long Fei laughed faintly. You think you can take me down with just the few people you sent? If I didn't want to know what you were up to, I really wouldn't be interested in coming here. You want to kill me? If you have the guts, come at me. Long Fei said, arrogantly. Moreover, you won't be able to kill me either. I am your only hope, and you won't let me die before we find the dragon domain. He finally knew why the God Emperor Academy Elder Jojo had helped him even at several crucial moments. So that was the case. Long Fei thought to himself in his heart, I can be reckless once I return to the God Emperor Academy. Western Devil Lord stared fixedly at Long Fei, wanting to see through Long Fei, but the more he looked, the more confused he became. The big boy who was in his early 20s in front of him was truly different. Suddenly, Western Devil Lord laughed out loud and said, I will indeed not kill you, but what about the people around you? Your woman, your brother, your Nantion region's relatives, their lives? Not waiting for him to finish, the aura on Long Fei's body fiercely ignited. The head of the Yuan Long and the power of the Yuan Long's body erupted from his sea of consciousness as the power Long Fei released formed a gigantic dragon's roar. Roar. Long Fei said solemnly, if you dare to touch one of them, I'm not Long Wushan. If he doesn't kill you, I will. Eerie and domineering, the powerful killing intent coming from Long Fei filled every corner of the Great Hall, and the entire Great Hall was faintly trembling. His family, his brothers, and his women were his weak spots. Nobody can move. If he touched them, he would die. In that instant, Western Devil Lord was stunned by the flames released from Long Fei's body. What a terrifying aura. At the same time, his heart also became slightly excited. As expected, this is your fatal weakness. Ha ha ha. That's enough, Western Devil Lord smiled faintly and said, you can go. Before we go, let me remind you that palace question of God's supreme God and great Elder Gu Tongtian are your archenemies. Chapter 875. Sorry, I almost lost you. Chapter 875. Sorry, I almost lost you outside the demon city. Long Fei's gaze was lifeless, his brows knitted tightly. My father. Is my father dead? Is he no longer in this world? Long Fei kept asking himself in his mind. He did not know how credible Western Devil Lord's words were. Or was it that he was purposely provoking his relationship with the palace question of God? But there was no need. Long Fei had known from the first time he had entered the outer space palace that there would be a day when he would take palace question of God out, and there was no need to provoke him. Could it be that what he said is true? Long Fei's mind was in a mess. He is the only son of the prophecy. Only the people from the Long family are able to remove the seal on the dragon domain. Could it be that my father had the same experience as me, and that he just didn't open the dragon domain like a useless chess piece and was thrown away and killed? Humph. Father, no matter what happens, I will make everything clear. Who killed you? I will return 10,000 times the same. Long Fei clenched his fists tightly. At this moment, Ling Long ran up, and before Long Fei could react, she threw herself into his embrace. Senior brother, I'm really worried about you. Long Fei's expression recovered. He gently patted Ling Long's back and laughed. I'm fine. There is no one in this world who dares to do anything to your senior brother. Ling Long sobbed softly. Long Fei's heart was in pain. This trip had scared her quite a bit. Long Fei looked at his surroundings and asked, what about 1,000? Ling Long shook her head and said, Sister Qian left with an unfamiliar man. Before she left, she said that you would definitely be fine. Ling Long left Long Fei's embrace, looked at Long Fei, and asked, Senior brother, Sister Qian, will anything happen to you? Long Fei turned around and looked at the demon city that was now like a great and ferocious beast, and smiled. She should be fine, right? Song Qianqian's identity was that of the young miss of the dark domain. That was all he knew. What was the relationship between the dark domain and the demon area? Long Fei didn't know. Long Fei realized that he knew very little about Song Qianqian, and he didn't even know what kind of person Song Qianqian was. Long Fei felt a little bitter in his heart. Every person's burden is different, their mission is different. Maybe your mission is to get close to me and know the next path of Dragon Domain, right? Huff. Long Fei exhaled and said, "Let's go to God Emperor's city." He didn't want to think about it, whether or not Song Qianqian had a reason to get close to him or no reason to do so. The only thing Long Fei could do was not to forget her initial intention and advance forward. Then again, there was still a little more than a month before the Academy's tournament. He had to wholeheartedly devote himself to this challenge. Long Fei brought Ling Long and walked in the direction of endless mountains. Ling Long asked, "Senior brother, don't you need to wait for Sister Qian Qian?" Long Fei said, "No need. Nothing will happen to her." Ling Long said, "Senior brother, Sister Qian cried before she left." Long Fei replied, "Oh, when she was in the Transu continent, she wanted to die together with you. I could tell that she truly liked you, and at that time, she was very fortunate. I don't know why, but even though I was about to die, she was smiling very happily." Suddenly, Long Fei stopped and clenched his fists tightly. After pausing for a few seconds, Long Fei's clenched fists slowly relaxed and suddenly grew even tighter. On the walls of the demon city, Song Qianqian cried like a tearman. He didn't know why, but he was sad and he wanted to cry, but he couldn't control himself. He had never cried before. As she watched Long Fei walk further and further away, her tears continuously poured out. Standing beside her was a man, young Devil Lord Zhou Lai. Zhou Lai looked at Long Fei, who had disappeared into the distance, and a smile emerged on his face. He smiled proudly, as if he had won the next battle. They were betting. Zhou Lai bet that Long Fei would definitely not wait for her. But now, Long Fei had gone far away, and Song Qianqian had lost. The price of losing was to give up on Long Fei. Zhou Lai lightly patted Song Qianqian's shoulders and consoled him. He will definitely not return. "Qian Qian, what identity do you have? What identity does he have? The two of you are bound to never come back. In this world, I am the only one who truly treats you with my heart. I love you the most." Suddenly, just when Zhou Lai was feeling extremely proud, a voice suddenly came from the sky. Long Fei stared at him and said, "Stay away from my woman, or I will kill you." As soon as he finished, Long Fei walked in front of Song Qianqian. He was extremely tyrannical, just like a tyrannical CEO. He grabbed Song Qianqian in his arms and said softly, "I'm sorry, I almost lost you." At this moment, Song Qianqian was startled for a second. Following that, her tears fell like a dam that burst as she leaned on Long Fei's shoulder and cried her heart out. Woo, 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 woo. Long Fei's heart was instantly defeated. His heart ached. Ling Long panted heavily as she ran to the city gate. Seeing Long Fei carrying Song Qianqian in his arms, she giggled. At this moment, Zhou Lai clenched his teeth, the aura on his body ignited, and he shouted out, "Long Fei!" Long Fei stared at him and said, "Why are you calling for your father? You're courting death." Zhou Lai was infuriated. The power of the golden immortal peak realm on his body burst forth, and the demon immortal roots on his body also burst out. A powerful fiend energy came crashing down. Song Qianqian's tears fell, and she asked, "Zhou Lai, what are you planning to do?" Zhou Lai yelled, "What are you doing? I will kill him." Since he was young, he had been in charge of everything with Song Qianqian. They cultivated together, ate together, and from young, he had always treated Song Qianqian as his future wife. Previously, his status was low, and he didn't dare to reveal it. Now, he was a descendant of the Western Devil Lord, and his status was above the Dark Domain's Master Song Qianqian. He had the qualifications to express his feelings, and he also believed that he and Song Qianqian were a match made in heaven. However, what Long Fei had done earlier had undoubtedly ignited the fury in the depths of his heart. With a jolt of his body, a powerful force burst forth from his body. At the same time, Long Fei blocked Song Qianqian behind him, and with a step, he shouted, "Come if you dare!" Roar! Both of Long Fei's fists became heavy, and the aura from his body also immediately soared. His fighting spirit ignited, forming a thick layer of flames that directly collided with the flames of qi released from Zhou Lai's body. Boom, 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 boom. The sound of thunder continuously echoed in the air. Zhou Lai frowned. A mere trash of the virtual immortal stage. You want to fight with me for a woman? Who do you think you are? Who do you think your Long family is? Huh. Zhou Lai roared. The black golden sword in his hand moved, the 1,000 layers of sword images attacking Xiang Longfei. Chapter 876, Purple Gold Super Boss. Chapter 876, Purple Gold Super Boss. Long Fei, be careful, Song Qianqian exclaimed. She was very clear about what kind of cultivation Zhou Lai had, and what sword technique he was training in. Golden Immortal Peak Realm. It could be said that he was the #1 person among the younger generation. Adding on the power of the Western Devil Lord's devil arts, Zhou Lai's strength could be considered an extremely strong existence even in the gods' martial continent. Long Fei was just a virtual immortal's stage. He could not resist at all. Unable to withstand it, he could not resist it at any other time. But at this moment, it was impossible to say no to this situation, much less defend against it. Roar! The aura on Long Fei's body moved, and with a flip of his right palm, he said, Buddha palm technique. Boom! A huge golden palm, with Buddhist light filling the entire sky, smashed down heavily. Zhou Lai's eyes trembled, but there was not the slightest bit of fear as the strength on his body changed accordingly. Rumble! The aura emitted from his body immediately turned into a real ferocious beast. The ferocious beast soared into the sky and became a force that blotted out the heavens, heavily blocking that palm. Die! Zhou Lai moved with all his might and locked onto the center of Long Fei's brows with his sword. A killing move. Boy, dangerous. Yen Huang Ancestor suddenly shouted. Golden Dragon Master also shouted out loud. Boss, it's dangerous. As
It
was
was
the
the
same
same
in Zhou
Liar,
Lai's heart.
stop.
A virtual
Peak
immortal
of the
stage
golden immortal
actually
realm.
had such a strong
power that could easily
and
crush
it was
any
completely
elder
a power
of the God
he had
Emperor
never
Academy.
seen before.
And even
Was this
obtain
the
the
power
inheritance
of
of
the
the
Western
Western
Devil
family.
Lord?
Western
His strength
Devil
was
Lord's
simply
eyes
too
also
terrifying.
became cold.
Zhou
Even
Lai didn't
Long
listen
Wuxian
at
back,
all.
then
He did
did
not
not
care
have this
about
kind
the
of power,
treasures of
right?
the Dragon Domain.
Nearly half a
What
minute.
he wanted to do now
Long
was to
Fei
take back
and Zhou
what
Lai
was
had
his.
already exchanged
He wanted to
over
kill Long
1,000
Fei.
moves.
The
No
Buddha
one
palm
had gained an
technique had
advantage.
already been blocked.
Super
and
Saiyan
the
was
anger
indeed
in
strong,
Long Fei's heart
but
began
Long
to
Fei's
rise.
level was relatively
Mother
low.
asterisk
If it was
cur.
someone of the same level,
Super Saiyan.
Long Fei could
Open.
easily crush him.
Rumble.
However, Long
This
Fei's
was
body
not Long
changed
Fei's
as his golden
greatest
hair
strength.
shot into the
Zhou
sky.
Lai
The
gasped
aura on his
as
body
he
burned
stared
up
at
like
Long
flames.
Fei's arrogant
And as the
expression.
devil's
His
sword in
eyes
his hand
bloodshot.
fell, the
His
devil's
gaze
sword in
darkened
Long
as
Fei's
he
hand
locked
moved,
onto Zhou Lai.
and the sword intent
Broken
of the
sword
infinite
style.
sword on his body
Schwa.
diffused outwards.
The sword
10,000
slashed out.
swords. The
Return
black
to the
gold
sect.
sword in Zhou Lai's hand
One.
struck.
One.
1,000-layered mystic
The demon
moon.
sword
Kill.
became a blur,
Transforming
transforming
into
into
a
a
million long
moves.
swords.
The
The
moment
moment
the
the
two
two
swords
swords
clashed,
forming
the
a tornado
tornado
was
of
ferocious.
swords
They slashed
and
down towards
explosively
Zhou
shot
Lai
out.
crazily.
Long Fei
Whoosh, whoosh,
and
whoosh.
Zhou Lai were
Asterisk
bounced
Zhou
back at
Lai's
the same
10,000
time.
sword slash.
And in that
also
moment,
came down.
both of them attacked
The
at the
two
same
great
time.
sword techniques
Clang.
interweaved
In the
crazily
world of fire,
counteracting
there
each
were
other
more than
as they
10
charged
moves per
forward
second.
crazily. The two people kept
Rumble.
shooting and
Crack.
clashing. The black
Even
gold
Song
sword
Chan
split
Chan
open.
could not see them
Zhou Lai's
clearly.
face was filled with
Long
shock.
Fei was
A strange
extremely
power
shocked
flowed out
in
from
his
his
heart.
body. He was
Break
very
for me.
clear on
Boom.
how strong
Rumble.
the Super
Rumble.
Saiyan
Asterisk.
was.
The
But
devil's sword
this
in the
guy
sky
could actually
let
block
out an
it. Ear-piercing hum as it broke right after Long Fei was struck away by a powerful force. The dark golden sword broke as well. Zhou Lai was also knocked back several hundred meters. The blood below his chest was boiling, and he spat out a mouthful of blood. His face turned extremely pale. A few magic tribes rushed over. Young Master, Song Chan rushed to Long Fei's side, supported Long Fei, and said, Long Fei. Long Fei's vital energy and blood also surged below his chest. All of his internal organs seemed to have been moved, making him feel incomparable discomfort. However, he forcefully held it in and laughed out arrogantly. Come again. Ha ha ha. Although he didn't gain any advantages, but one had to say, this battle had been a great one. Satisfied, this also made Long Fei realize that the Super Saiyan was not invincible. The Buddha palm technique was not impossible to break. This battle had allowed Long Fei to understand his own strength even more. Zhou Lai pushed away all of the magic tribe elders with one hand, and the anger in his heart continued to burn crazily as he roared, I must kill you. Boom. He exploded forth with his strength. Long Fei was just as furious. You broke my devil's sword, and your father's old fire, already started burning. Do you think your father will let you go? Buzz. Long Fei's hands sank, his arms moved, and before Zhou Lai could even get close, he leaped up. In the air, both fists exploded. Lightning Force Mountain Hit Fist. Boom. With a clap of thunder, the combination of the Super Saiyan and the Mountain Hit Fist formed a strong resonance. The violent diamond ape's illusory image on Long Fei's arm turned golden. Break my weapon? Get down. Bang, bang, bang. Zhou Lai raised his eyes. The special energy in his body surged once again. The muscles on his body expanded. The veins on his body popped out, and he stepped on them as he smashed towards Long Fei, who was in the air. Rumble. Crack. Long Fei had the upper hand as he punched Zhou Lai down. While he was sick, he had to take his life. In a split second, Long Fei seized the opportunity. Both of his fists went berserk as he frantically threw punches. Bang, bang, bang. Because of a tiny mistake in strength, Zhou Lai was ruthlessly punched by Long Fei hundreds of times and smashed him onto the ground. Long Fei didn't stop and fiercely smashed his face into Zhou Lai's again. What's so amazing about you, young Devil Lord? So what if your master is a Western Devil Lord? You despise my Long family? Who do you think you are? Do you have the qualifications to despise my long family? Punch after punch. Incomparable rage. Unstoppable. At this moment, the sky suddenly darkened. A powerful aura smashed down. With an angry roar, he shouted fiercely, "Long Fei, stop right there!" Western Devil Lord of the Western Devil Lord had appeared. The light emitted from his body was not golden, but purplish gold. This was the true superboss. Chapter 877, Boss Against Boss. Chapter 877, Boss Against Boss. With a roar of rage, the aura he exuded was as powerful as the heavens. He poured everything in. Long Fei was instantly crushed to the point that he couldn't move at all. His strength was terrifying to the point that it made one's hair stand on end. Powerful, incomparable strength. However, Long Fei was displeased and bellowed in his heart, "Golden Dragon Master!" Roar! The Golden Dragon Master didn't care that much as well. The powerful energy of the Golden Dragon Master was directly helping Long Fei to resist the pressure of the Western Devil Lord. Level 6 unparalleled. Crack! 64 times the usual strength. Every muscle in his body tensed up rapidly, as if his body was about to burst from the force. Long Fei rolled his eyes, staring at the boss Western Devil Lord that was flickering with purple and gold light in the air, laughed coldly. "You said you want to stop, so you stopped? Who the F asterisk asterisk K? Do you think you are?" His fists moved. He threw a punch at Zhou Lai. "Defamate my long family, break my weapon, and fight with me for my woman. Get up and F asterisk king fight with me again." Bam! Long Fei smashed his fists down onto Zhou Lai's head. Uff! Zhou Lai spurted out blood. Western Devil Lord's face was filled with shock. He did not expect that Long Fei had not released even the most powerful of energies, nor did he expect that this madman, Long Fei, would actually dare to attack. Western Devil Lord glared at him, and his body fell down heavily. The flames on his body were like 10,000-meter wide waves in a sea of anger, and they didn't even give Long Fei a chance to react before they directly sent him flying. Rumble! Puffed! Long Fei was sent flying as he spat out a mouthful of blood. His face was as thin as a sheet of white paper, and he had no fear at all, but he was extremely excited in his heart. Fuck! Is this the power of the purple gold boss? God damn it, he's too valiant. If we kill him, he should be able to expose the existence of Super Artifact, right? I wonder if this fellow is the infernal king of the 18th level of hell. If that's the case, Long Fei excitedly swallowed his saliva. Gudong! Then we really have to go up to the sky. Long Fei was a madman. He didn't care about the danger at all. He only wanted to kill the boss. With a slight movement, she quickly rushed to Long Fei's side and helped him up. Song Qianqian, who was on the city wall, also moved in the air and flew down from the city wall. But as he was flying above, Western Devil Lord, master of magic tribe, flipped his right hand and slapped him. Pa! Song Qianqian's body sank and directly fell from the sky. He smashed onto the ground and rolled dozens of meters away with blood trickling from the corner of his mouth as he looked at Long Fei, who was not far away, and said, Long Fei, run! Western Devil Lord slowly helped Zhou Lai up. Zhou Lai's face was badly mutilated. Her lips trembled as she said, Master, kill him, help me kill him. He was beaten into this state by Long Fei. Zhou Lai was unhappy. Master of Magic Tribe was even more unhappy. To want to control a madman like Long Fei, it was practically impossible. Master of Magic Tribe's aura surged. Buzz. Long Fei was overwhelmed with shock. Even the killing thought was shrinking, being crushed like this by this strong killing intent. Immediately, Long Fei ignored the severe pain in his body, rushed to Song Qianqian's front and helped her up, then said to Ling Long, Take care of her. With that, Long Fei's eyes lit up. The idea linked with the Xianbao spirit stones. As long as Western Devil Lord made a move, he would immediately release 1 million power of Celestial S to use the turn Yanlong into God. This was his strongest move. He would never use it unless it was absolutely necessary. Long Fei's actions just now had reached the bottom line of the Western Devil Lord. Since such a madman like him could not control him, it would be better to destroy him. After handing Zhou Lai over to the Sea Demon, the Western Devil Lord's eyes darkened. He stared at Long Fei and said, The people in the Long family have always been crazy. Today, I'll see how crazy a lowly ant-like Long family you are. Boom! The atmosphere suddenly changed. Demonic flames soared to the sky. The sky above the demon city was covered by the demonic flames, making it extremely terrifying. Long Fei's heart was trembling. The Azure Dragon, Sea Dragon, and Gold Dragon started to worry, but other than the Golden Dragon Master protecting Long Fei's entire body, they didn't take action. Powerful to the point of exploding on the surface. Long Fei was excited in his heart. He did not know if the turn Yanlong into God was his opponent or not. But now, he had to do it even if he had to. It was impossible to not go. Western Devil Lord also slowly walked over and stared coldly at Long Fei. I gave you a chance to live. Now, I won't give you a second chance. Burn with devil fire. Boom. The devilish flames in the sky suddenly ignited, turning into a raging inferno. It looked as if the sky was burning, and the powerful pressure was growing stronger and stronger by the moment. Even the Golden Dragon Master found it a bit hard to endure. Huff! At this moment, Yen Huang Ancestor let out a light breath and said, It's time for me to take action. He hadn't moved in a long time. During this time, he had not fought at all. And at this time, he knew that Long Fei could not hold on any longer. He had to take action. However, just as the demonic flame was burning, a golden light flashed from the eastern sky. It came down like a meteor. Boom! Wherever the meteor passed, the flames would disappear, forming a long crack. Following that, a human figure would appear beside Long Fei. Palace question of God, Supreme God. The force from his body exploded out, forming a shock wave that directly shattered the pressure from the shock wave. It was so powerful that it was a complete mess. The corner of Supreme God's mouth curled up slightly.
He looked at Western Devil Lord and smiled faintly, saying, "Master of Magic Tribe, how have you been?" Two of the three bosses had appeared. Long Fei withdrew all the strength he had on his body and thought to himself, "Once they start fighting, if they start fighting, the two of you should hurry up and fight. It's best if both of you are injured at the same time. I've suddenly dropped two super strong bosses. That would be great." The moment Supreme God landed, the devil flames on his body suddenly retracted. He stared at Supreme God and laughed coldly. Palace question of God, Supreme God. In that instant, their eyes met and their killing intent clashed. Although the two of them retracted their auras imperceptibly, their powers were frantically fighting, and thunderous roars unceasingly rang out from the nine heavens. This was the battle between Powerhouse. Long Fei couldn't even sense the power from their bodies. The Yen Huang ancestor said slightly, "They are too strong. Even if you use the turn Yen Long into God, they are not your match. They are the people that you are currently unable to fight." Yen Huang ancestor had once said that none of them were his match. Now, just by comparing the golden light on Supreme God's body with the purple golden light on Master of Magic Tribe's body, Master of Magic Tribe's cultivation was one level higher. The most powerful person in the Palace question of God was not Supreme God, but rather the Grand Elder, Gu Tong Tian. He was Palace question of God's #1 powerhouse. However, now was the time for the boss to fight the boss. Chapter 878, Open Dragon Domains, Heart Level 2. Chapter 878, Open Dragon Domains, Heart Level 2, A Battle Between Heaven and Earth. What was a battle between heaven and earth? Everything happened in a world invisible to mortals. Many things happened in just a few seconds, but no one knew what happened. At least, Long Fei didn't know. The scene that he wanted to see the most did not appear, and he was a bit depressed. Why didn't they start fighting? This is such a failure. He wanted to take the opportunity to swallow the two bosses, but it seemed impossible now. Supreme God smiled and said, "Master of Magic Tribe, can we leave now?" Western Devil Lord snorted and didn't say anything. Supreme God looked at Long Fei, and a surge of energy held them back as he said, faintly, "Let's go." The void moved. In the blink of an eye, Long Fei and the rest landed on the endless mountains' teleportation circle. The Supreme God did not stop at all and walked into the teleportation circle. A demon city. Western Devil Lord's face turned scarlet red, and the aura from his body suppressed down. He let out a heavy breath and muttered, "I didn't expect that Palace question of God's Supreme God was actually an immortal peak realm."
Palace Question of God is truly worthy of being called the master of the ears of the gods' martial continent. If it's that old fart Gu Tong Tian, I'm afraid that he would have already stepped into the high level of the flying immortal stage, right? The sea demon stepped forward and asked gently, Lord Master of Magic Tribe, what happened just now? He didn't know. At the same time, he couldn't see any Empyrean battles either. Master of Magic Tribe trembled slightly and said, Send down my order. Watch over Long Fei closely. Once you discover his location, you must stop his powerhouse at all costs. The secret treasure of the Dragon Domain is the only hope for us to be able to dominate the gods' martial continent. He was very glad right now. It was fortunate that he did not kill Long Fei earlier out of anger. Otherwise, he might have regretted it now. Magic Tribe looked to the east and muttered, Palace Question of God. Hee. Let's see who can laugh till the end and who can obtain the Dragon Domain's secret treasure. And then, Master of Magic Tribe turned around and used a force to lift Zhou Lai up. He said slightly, Liar, I will reform your body from a new start. I will make you the number one person in God's martial continent. Zhou Lai said weakly, Ancestor, I want Song Qianqian. I want her. I must have her. She is my woman. The center of Master of Magic Tribe's brows sunk as he said indifferently, Powerhouse can obtain whatever he wants, but if you want to obtain everything, then you better become stronger. Become an existence that can crush anyone, including Long Fei. A mere Song Qianqian? Master of Magic Tribe laughed coldly in disdain. Don't worry, she will definitely be your woman. Even though my lifespan is about to run out, there are still a few more years left. You have experienced the strength of the Western Devil Lord. You must also make your preparations earlier. Let's start with the Academy's tournament. Supreme God immediately replied, Yes, sir. Western Devil Lord stared at Long Fei. Palace Question of God was also secretly staring at Long Fei. They knew everything that had happened around Long Fei, like the back of their hands. They all wanted to obtain the Dragon Domain's secret treasure. Maybe this was their chance to change their fates. At this moment, after Long Fei finished handing in his mission of Nether King's Sea God's blood and successfully registered for the alchemy competition, he brought the weakened Song Qianqian back to Logistics Department. Song Qianqian was resting. Long Fei let out a light breath and took out the Dragon Domain's heart. The first step had already been opened. He needed the Sea Dragon King's essence blood to open the second step. Long Fei secretly tensed up and said, It's time for the second level of the open Dragon Domain's heart. The people of the Palace Question of God are looking for the Dragon Domain, and the Western Magic Tribe is also looking for them. What exactly are the secret treasures of the Dragon Domain? Or is it a secret art of eternal life? Long Fei was a little excited as he took out the Sea Dragon King's essence blood and dripped it onto the Dragon Domain's heart. Next, after the Dragon Domain's heart absorbed all of the Sea Dragon King's blood essence, it released the sound of gears turning. A series of mechanical-like sounds came out, and Long Fei also became slightly excited. Opening the first layer of the Dragon Domain's heart, Long Fei obtained the heaven-opposing cultivation technique, turn Yen Long into God. Then, what would he get from opening the second layer? This was like opening a chest in a game, and it was opening an ultimate treasure chest. Long Fei's heart became more and more nervous. Just what is it, and what are the good things? A long half a minute passed. The heart of the Dragon Domain suddenly stopped moving. The system beeped. Ding. Chapter 879, Long Fei Fury. Chapter 879, Long Fei Fury. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for opening the second layer of Heart of Dragon Domain.
You have received 10,000 experience points, 1,000 power of celestial 1,000 points, and a special reward of 1,000 points. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Heavenly Dragon Transformation Art. Do you wish to cultivate it? Ding! System notification. The third level of the Open Dragon Domain's heart requires the blood essence of the Sky Tyrant Dragon. The system beep sounded continuously. When Long Fei heard the words Heavenly Dragon Transformation Art, his blood started to boil. The second move of the God transforming technique. Cultivate. Cultivate immediately. How can you not? If the turn Yen Long into God was able to instantly kill the Transu Emperor, then the Heavenly Dragon Transformation Art on the second floor would be even more powerful. Just from the name alone, Tian Long was much more powerful than Yen Long cultivation method. Heavenly Dragon Transformation Art grade. Consumption. 1. 5 million power of Celestial S description. Transformed into a Celestial Dragon. Looked at the power of Celestial that was being exhausted, and his heart secretly tightened. As expected, the greater the consumption, the stronger the attack. This was a law that would never change. Heavenly Dragon Transformation Art. Long Fei was incomparably excited. What's on the third floor? Sky Tyrant Dragon Blood Essence? What kind of dragon is this? Long Fei had never heard of such a T-Rex. However, his grandfather who transformed into a dragon was a tyrannosaur, but it wasn't a Sky Tyrant Dragon. Could it be that it still hadn't reached the peak of its level yet? Will grandfather's blood essence be the password to open the third level of the dragon domain's heart? Long Fei muttered in his heart and thought to himself, after this year's academy tournament is over, I'll find some time to return to the Nantian region. I have to go back for a while. Long Fei always had a bad premonition in his heart. He always felt that something had happened in the Nantian region. Lang Qianli had been sent out for a long time, but he still had not returned. He was a shadow soldier. Unless he was a super powerhouse. Otherwise, no one would discover him. Something must have happened. Lang Qianli would not be sentenced to death. Grandfather. Jojo, leopard girl, Luo Shi, just you wait. I will definitely rush back as soon as possible. Long Fei secretly made his decision in his heart. He would make a trip to the Nantian region after the academy competition this time, and he had to investigate this matter thoroughly. Otherwise, he would not be able to cultivate in peace. At this moment, Sun Datu supported Fan Tong into the logistics department and said angrily, "Isn't that too much of a bully, just an official disciple?" What's so great about that? Fan Tong was beaten black and blue. Not just him. Sun Datu, the army, and the other service disciples all had some injuries. During this period of time, every time they released their qi, they would be attacked and punched. He didn't take them seriously at all. Long Fei heard the sound and immediately walked out of the room. Seeing the injuries on Sun Datu and the rest, he became furious and walked forward. "Who hit you guys?" Sun Data did not know that Long Fei had returned. Seeing Long Fei, who had suddenly charged out, he immediately shook his head and said, "No one. We ourselves do not have the heart to fall into such a state." "What did it fall on?" Dajuan said angrily, "We were beaten up by them, the disciples of the College of Martial Arts Training. Each and every one of them arrogantly acted like they were 250. What's so special about that?" The Sun Data gave the army a meaningful glance, signaling them to stay silent. Great Army said, "Leader Sun, since Long Fei is back, there is nothing much to hide from him. Young Master Long, after you leave, we are bullied by the people of 18 great matrial halls almost every day. Look at how badly Fan Tong has been beaten up. Young Master Long, my great army requests nothing else. I only beg of you, for one thing, You must trample all over the 18 great material halls in the academy competition and avenge us, brothers. The great army said fiercely. Long Fei clenched his fists tightly. 18 great material halls. After Long Fei went to the Endless Mountains Green Dragon Material Hall, and the White Tiger Kung Fu tribe took the lead. The 18 great material halls responded, and a few new disciples specifically gave them a sandbag in front of the people of Sun Datu. He didn't take them seriously at all. It was because Long Fei had desecrated the goddess in their hearts. Oya, if they couldn't find Long Fei, they would find the person beside Long Fei to vent their anger. Without waiting for Long Fei to rush out to the logistics department to grab Long Fei, he said, "Long Fei, we are fine. Even if we are beaten up, they would not dare to do anything to us. You can't be rash now. There's only a month's time until the Academy's competition. You can't waste it on us. If you want to take revenge for us, just do as the army says. Defeat all of the 18 great material halls." The Sun Datu was forever thinking for Long Fei. There was only 1 month of time, and it was urgent. Long Fei could not waste even a little bit of time. Long Fei looked at the Sun Datu, looked at his many brothers, and said, "I, Long Fei, have never taken revenge overnight. I didn't know it in the past, but now that I'm here, I must seek justice for all of you." Long Fei could not tolerate his brothers being beaten up. He absolutely could not tolerate it. The 18 great material halls is amazing, right? High and mighty, right? Then let's see how great he is and how high he is. Just treat it as a warm-up before the Academy tournament. And then Long Fei said, "Who hit Fan Tong today? That College of Martial Arts training." At this time, the great army also realized that Long Fei was really angry and said, "Young Master Long, why don't we endure for a while?" Fan Tong also said weakly, "Young Master Long, I'm fine. I'll be fine after a few days of rest." No way. Long Fei could not tolerate it anymore. Last time, when the disciples of the Green Dragon Material Hall attacked the logistics department, he endured. As a result, the people from the Green Dragon Material Hall chased him all the way to the Endless Mountains. In the end, during this 1 month, his brother was bullied and beaten every day. Endure was not an option. Since he couldn't take it anymore, he might as well beat him up. Long Fei shouted, "Speak." The great army clenched their fists and threw caution to the wind, saying, "A disciple of the Heavenly College of Martial Arts Training." The Heavenly College of Martial Arts Training, right? All right. Then let's start with Sky College of Martial Arts Training. Long Fei took a big step forward as his anger surged. "This old man shall see how amazing all of you are." In another place, Green Dragon Material Hall, Ouyang Jian's courtyard. "What did you say? Long Fei is back. What about Tu Zhan?" A disciple replied, "No, I don't think." Ouyang Jian's eyes turned sinister. His gaze became cold, and he said fiercely, "Useless trash, unable to accomplish anything. Long Fei, it's good that you're still alive. I'll trample you under my feet in front of Aoya." The anger in Ouyang Jian's heart raged. During this period of time, Oya did not even glance at him. This made him hate Long Fei to the bones. At this moment, Heavenly College of Martial Arts Training. Ha ha ha. Servant disciples are just service disciples. They are all trash and can't even withstand 3 of my punches. The 2 disciples said with a smile. Suddenly, the entrance of the Heavenly College of Martial Arts Training was directly kicked away by a powerful force. All of you get the F*CK out here. Chapter 880, Challenge, 18 Generations of College of Martial Arts Training. Chapter 880, Challenge, 18 Generations of College of Martial Arts Training. A loud sound echoed out. The entire College of Martial Arts Training was shocked.
They looked at Long Fei, who was at the entrance of the courtyard. His brain was rather short. After that, a large group of disciples ran up to him. Who the F asterisk asterisk K are you? You dare to behave so atrociously in the Heavenly College of Martial Arts Training. I'll see if you're tired of living. Are you looking to die? All of them were extremely arrogant and looked down at Long Fei. At this time, a dozen or so Sun Data disciples caught up to him. Seeing that the big door of the Sky College of Martial Arts Training was kicked away, their expressions changed as they thought to themselves, "This is it." Seeing that the Sun Datu and the rest had appeared, a few disciples of the Heavenly College of Martial Arts Training began to laugh disdainfully. Isn't that the service disciple who was rolling on the ground in pain? Why, you called for helpers? Ha ha ha. The helper you trash called over is also trash, right? Not waiting for him to finish. Long Fei's figure blurred and landed in front of the disciple who spoke. The speed was so fast that the disciple didn't even have time to react. He stuttered and said, You, what are you trying to do? Long Fei grabbed his collar and raised him into the air, using all his strength in his right arm, and smashed him hard onto the ground. Boom! With a loud sound, the ground split open and blood gushed out from the disciple's mouth. He was in so much pain that he couldn't even scream. With this one move, it stunned everyone around him. Incomparable savagery. None of them dared to say a word as they looked at Long Fei. Following that, Long Fei looked at Fan Tong and asked, "Who beat you up just now? Don't be afraid. You are my brothers. When the sky falls, I will support you." Long Fei's voice was filled with rage. Fan Tong walked forward, pointed at a person who was trembling in the crowd, and said, Him, and him. Long Fei said straightforwardly, "Just now, how they beat you all up will now be how they fight back. Remember, there's no way to tolerate it. If they can't endure it, then we'll just kill them." Since things had come to this point, there was no other way to save them. He would do his best to release them. The Sun Data took a step forward and immediately grabbed a disciple of the Heavenly College of Martial Arts Training and said, "It's not that we're weak. It's because we don't want to be like you." Pa! Yi Zichen slapped him. Dajuan also rushed forward and gave them a kick. "Just now, I didn't fight back at all. Do you think you guys are very strong? Do you think you are above all else?" Uffed. More than 10 service disciples started to fight back. Those disciples of the Heavenly College of Martial Arts Training did not dare to retaliate. They were all new disciples and had their mental defenses destroyed with just one move from Long Fei. They just stood there, not daring to move. At this moment, an elder hurriedly walked out with a few senior disciples behind him. The elder suddenly shouted, "Who is the one who is acting so atrociously in the Heavenly College of Martial Arts Training?" The Sun Datu and the others withdrew slightly, and Long Fei said, "Don't stop. I'll support all of you if the sky collapses." Finished, Long Fei took a step forward and said, "It's this father." The 2 senior disciples behind that elder were enraged. "Brat, you're courting death." Boom, boom. The auras of the 2 of them burst out as their figures continued to alternate. Their speed was extremely fast, and the power in their fists could be heard from within the roars of tigers. It's Chunda, Chen Er, and the 2 senior brother. This kid is dead for sure. How dare he act so arrogantly in the Heavenly College of Martial Arts Training? He's done for. Just you wait. He's going to lie on the ground and become a dead dog. I want him to cripple all of these service disciples. A burst of contemptuous voices sounded out from the crowd. Chunda and Chener's cultivations weren't weak. The key point was that the 2 of them practiced a combination cultivation technique that complemented each other. Their attack power was extremely thick. They were quite famous in the Heavenly College of Martial Arts Training.
The elder also laughed complacently. How dare a lowly service disciple come to my college of martial arts training to be so arrogant? You overestimate yourself. Not waiting for him to finish. Pa! Long Fei stood where he was and slapped him twice. The two figures fell to the ground. Lying on the ground like a dead dog, he was completely motionless and had been knocked unconscious by Long Fei in the blink of an eye. The entire Heavenly College of Martial Arts training instantly quieted down. The silence sent chills down everyone's spines. His mind was sluggish, and he could not react in time. Some people even had a disdainful sneer on their faces, and their expressions twisted along with it. Their faces were extremely unsightly. If not for the fact that they saw Chunda and Chun-Er on the ground, they would have thought that all of this was an illusion and that it was impossible. Long Fei clapped twice and said, "Are you looking down on this service disciple? What do you College of Martial Arts training have to be arrogant for? What qualifications do you have to be so arrogant?" It was clearly him who was being arrogant. The elder's expression was extremely ugly. He stared at Long Fei and asked, "Brat, who exactly are you?" Chapter 881, Challenge College of War Martial Arts. Chapter 881, Challenge College of War Martial Arts. They're here. They're here. They're here. The people from Logistics Department are here. Even College of Martial Arts Training Yun, one of the 18 great matrial halls whose power was lower than the average. The old and distant entrance of College of Martial Arts Training was already filled with people. All of them were the disciples of College of Martial Arts Training Lianyun, and there was no lack of high-ranking disciples among them. Seeing Long Fei rushing over with the Logistics Department disciples aggressively, their faces were filled with panic. Within an hour, they had consecutively defeated 5 great College of Martial Arts Training, and were the 6th. An elder shouted, "Great elder, even the headmaster is not here. We must crush this arrogant fellow. Do you understand?" All of the disciples were shocked. Understood. Long Fei walked up and swept his gaze across them, then asked directly, "Which one of you touched them? Find out for yourself how you beat them up. How do you expect them to call them back today? Nothing will happen." Long Fei's tone was very calm. One of the senior disciples snorted and said, "Brat, don't be too arrogant. Who are they? Servant disciples are destined to be bullied by others. If you have the ability, then you can make them official disciples." Senior brother is right. If you have the ability, make them become official disciples. Can you do it? This is the God Emperor Academy. No matter how arrogant you are, you still have to look at this place. The group of people clamored loudly. Long Fei's mouth hooked up as he laughed coldly. "You're capable, aren't you? If you have the ability, stop me from flipping through your College of Martial Arts Training Lianyun." Ha! Suddenly, Long Fei made his move. Both fists moved. The power that could shake the mountain burst out. With a step forward, he unleashed a heavy punch, sending a disciple flying. "Do you have the ability to stop me?" Boom! Another punch sent another disciple flying. Boom! Another punch sent another disciple flying. In just a few seconds, all 8 disciples were blasted flying. The most arrogant senior brother could do nothing but stand there blankly. He couldn't even understand what was going on. Long Fei disdainfully said, "Do you have the ability?" The senior brother's face turned pale, and his body trembled. He couldn't say a single word, and he didn't dare to even move a bit, as he was completely suppressed by Long Fei. That elder was angered and shouted, "Brat, you are too arrogant. How dare you? Why do I feel like I'm not arrogant enough?" Long Fei sneered. Seeing that the elder's sword was approaching him, Long Fei's right hand moved. The dragon salyer descended. Kill! Crack! The long sword was cut off. The dragon salyer's back swept out. Die!
Bam! Long Fei took the chance and leaped up, landing beside him, and said coldly, "You are human. They are also human. People should learn to respect each other. Today, I am only giving you guys a lesson. Getting too cocky, getting pissed off. I will kill you." His gaze turned cold. The killing thought surged, continuously releasing killing intent. It wanted Long Fei to kill it and control Long Fei. Long Fei was not moved. He was a human, not a killing machine. He would not be controlled by the power of his fusion. What he trained in was the path of death, not the slaughter of the innocent. Two sinister eyes stared at the elder. "Do you understand?" The elder was smashed onto the ground. His complexion turned pale. He was feeling extremely displeased in his heart. However, he was unable to retaliate at all. Seeing that he did not say anything, Long Fei glared. The spirit chi on the dragon's salure burst forth with his anger, and roared, "I ask, do you understand?" The elder was scared to the point that he almost peed his pants. "Understood, understood, understood." Long Fei's eyes turned sinister as he laughed. "It's good that you understand." And then he walked in front of the senior brother and swept his eyes over him coldly. "Ability? Now, do you know what it means to be capable?" Long Fei shouted, "Go next." After Long Fei disappeared, the senior brother suddenly collapsed. He was powerless for a long time and could not stand up. The same was true for the elder. However, you dare to be so rampant in God Emperor Academy? Brat, just you wait. Wait for law enforcement agency to tear you into 1,000 pieces. And then he quickly rushed to the law enforcement agency. Outside, outside. Outside, outside. The 6th Great College of Martial Arts Training, College of Martial Arts Training Lianyun, has been crushed. The strong rise of the disciples of the logistics department. In just a short span of 1 hour, the entire God Emperor Academy was shaken up. In the Academy's wind and cloud rankings, the matter of Long Fei challenging the 18 great matrial halls immediately skyrocketed to first place. Countless disciples followed him and watched the show. In another college of martial arts training, what did I do to them? What's wrong with hitting lowly service disciples like them? Bam! Without waiting for him to finish speaking, Long Fei directly punched out with explosive power and heavily knocked him unconscious on the ground. Long Fei said in disdain, "Not much, just 10 times promised." Hit him. Half an hour later, all 8 College of Martial Arts Training S were crushed. Long Fei is raging. The service disciples that the 18 generations of College of Martial Arts Training had despised are now trembling with fear. Countless elders of the College of Martial Arts Training have already squeezed out and blown the floor. Who else? Who else can stop Long Fei's footsteps? Brat, do you think that the College of War Martial Arts is some other College of Martial Arts Training, a soft persimmon, a place that a trash from the logistics department like you can be arrogant in? What are they? They sound like a bunch of service disciples, but they sound like a bunch of trash. To say that they are trash is to praise them. They are not even comparable to trash. Not waiting for him to finish, Long Fei suddenly struck out with a slap. Pah! Yi Zichen slapped that man down onto the ground, then stepped on him without him standing up. He glared. "What do you think you are now?" Trash. The trash of the trash. It was also at this time all of the surrounding College of War Martial Arts disciples rushed over. Long Fei suddenly shouted and exerted strength with his feet. "Whoever dares to come up and give it a try, do you believe I won't kill him?" Ah! The disciple under his feet stepped on the ground and cried out in pain. The surrounding disciples were stunned and stopped abruptly. Long Fei bent down and coldly asked, "Now let me ask you, who do you think you are? Speak." Long Fei raged and roared. The disciple glared at Long Fei and said, "If you have the guts, then kill me."
I want to see if you can leave this place. Yo, you still have some backbone, if that's the case. Long Fei playfully sneered. With a move of his right hand, the dragon's salure descended. Black saber chi continued to gush out of his body. The visual impact of a 103,000-kilogram dragon salure being placed on his neck was enough to make a person collapse. Long Fei smiled, slightly. Then why don't you give it to me? I am trash. I am trash among trash. Don't kill me, don't kill me. The man's mind collapsed. The pressure the dragon salure gave him was too strong. He couldn't take it at all. Long Fei sneered and said, "What did you say? I didn't hear it." That person wailed, I'm a trash amongst trash. Please spare me." Long Fei hoisted the dragon's salure onto his shoulder, looked at the disciples around him whose eyes were spewing fire, and said in an incomparably wild voice, "Trash, are you guys fighting one-on-one? Or attack together?" Humiliation. It was a severe humiliation. Long Fei was going to return them back to the leader's son after humiliating them 10 times over. At this moment, Aoya walked over, her gaze tensed up as she stared at Long Fei, and said, "Long Fei, enough." Chapter 884, Overbearing Kiss. Chapter 884, Overbearing Kiss. Schwa. Long Fei moved. The ethereal footwork beneath his feet became different. The ethereal footwork was erratic. It's hard to see where he's going next. However, this was not its true strength. Long Fei released the ethereal footwork, and his body started to sway left and right frantically. Not only was he unable to see his movements, he was also unable to see his moves. The disciples who screamed knew that Aoya cultivated the ethereal footwork, but her ethereal footwork was far weaker than Long Fei's. He also knows ethereal footwork. What is his background? Even the teacher Oya didn't have a completely proficient ethereal footwork, yet he's actually able to use it so skillfully. Who exactly is this guy? The disciples felt their hearts sink. At the same time, he shouted loudly, "Teacher Oya, go for it, defeat him." "Go, Teacher Oya." Amongst these people, Ouyang Jian, who had not fought all this time, had an ugly expression on his face. He knew better than anyone how difficult it was to control the ethereal footwork. He had also tried to cultivate it before. But, no, I can't grasp that kind of unpredictable essence. But Long Fei's steps are very terrifying. It is even stronger than Aoya, who has cultivated for more than 10 years. Ouyang Jian's forehead turned sinister. In a short span of 1 month, he has become stronger. 1 month ago, he was only an arrogant immortal state, but now, for him to already be at the 8th stage of the virtual immortals, that is just too terrifying. Shock was shock. However, Aoya Judi would not show mercy. Moreover, this time, she did not suppress her cultivation. With her blood immortal cultivation released, the attack on the sword became stronger. Look carefully. Long Fei suddenly shouted in his heart, "Illusion immortal root, open." Buzz. His body suddenly split into 2. This wasn't a clone, but an illusion. Ding. Illusion techniques had been successfully released. Also at this moment, Long Fei became even more unsteady. His figure turned around and landed behind Aoya. The branch in his hand pointed towards her little fart, and fiercely Pia was struck down. "Let's talk about your battle chi with me." Ah. A branch mark appeared on Aoya's buttocks. Her body bounced up abruptly in pain. Her long sword also pierced out, stabbing into the air. It was also at this time that she woke up from Long Fei's illusion. Looking at Long Fei behind her, she was incomparably furious. Schwa. His body swayed, and his feet moved. Once again, he revealed himself behind Oya and whipped another branch. "You still dare to be cocky? Pia." Another explosive sound. It was another imprint, and his ass was about to bloom. The pain was so painful that Aoya was almost unable to endure it. She was so angry that smoke rose from her head, and her entire body trembled. The more she trembled, the more her breasts trembled. After 2 consecutive moves, Aoya was unable to block them. However, she had a lot of battle experience, so she quickly retreated back from Long Fei's battle range. Staring at the furious Long Fei, she was a little confused. If it was clearly her that was angry, then what was Long Fei angry for? Long Fei pointed to the tree branch in his hand and said, "Isn't it just peeping at you bathing? Didn't he just say something excessive? Didn't I just hit your butt? What's the matter? Huh? You want to run away from a woman that I, Long Fei, have set my eyes on? Let me tell you, not only are you some Academy's goddess, even if you are a goddess from the heavens, I, Long Fei, will take you down as well. There's more. I will take revenge for you." Long Fei said angrily. The more he fought, the angrier he got. It had been such a long time since he had taken Aoya down, and he was really unhappy. If they still had to stop him today, then Long Fei would be even more unhappy. Oya was stunned. It was her first time seeing such a tyrannical person. Long Fei was truly tyrannical. Aoya could not bear it either, especially what Long Fei had said. As long as it was a woman he liked, he would also take down the goddess of heaven. Looking at Aoya, who was in a daze, Long Fei continued, "Don't you just want to improve the insight into sword method? Didn't you want to surpass your father in the path of the sword, and then take revenge for him? I'll teach you. Others can't give it to you, but I can. Other than me, there is no one else in this world who can give you what you want." Tyrant. Madness. It was to crush the line of defense in Oya's heart. Some women were like this, lacking in discipline. At the same time, she was also furious. Looking at Long Fei, she thrusted out her sword once again. "I'm F*** king screwed." When Long Fei saw that Aoya had rushed forward again, he also went all out. "It looks like I have to be a little more overbearing." He didn't clean up enough just now. Aoya was a sword force King Kong, so this kind of woman was much stronger than normal women. He watched as Oya's long sword struck out. The branch on Long Fei's finger flashed with a light as he focused his attention on it. Alpha Assault. Shwa. The instant Aoya unleashed her sword, Long Fei's figure disappeared. Thinking back to the 2 times he had been hit on the butt and how his heart had been clouded by the attacks, he decided to look behind him after his sword had missed. The instant she looked behind her, Long Fei suddenly threw away the branches, grabbed Aoya's head, and heavily kissed her. Ugh. Aoya's eyes bulged out. With a single glare, she became stupefied, and her lips tightened. However, Long Fei's right hand suddenly loosened and grabbed towards her chest. Ah. When his mouth opened, Long Fei's tongue immediately stuck out and forcefully kissed him. Aoya was completely unable to withstand this kind of attack. He continued to block nonstop. However, it was completely useless. In just a few short seconds, her body couldn't use any power at all. Long Fei was really too powerful in this regard. That was a must. Although she hadn't practiced it too often, in her previous life, she had not watched those national action movies for nothing, and had even attacked them when they were free. Oya was a mature woman, but she didn't understand this aspect at all. Coupled with her current physical needs, she was on the verge of collapse. However, all the disciples of the College of War Martial Arts were dumbstruck. Wow, too overbearing. This is the scene of my dream. I'm starting to admire him a little now. I've already worshipped him. All of their eyes shone with excitement, as if they were forcefully kissing a goddess. They were the same. It required a domineering method to subdue it. They were all excited, but there was a person smoking above their heads. Their anger was burning, and their blood was churning under their chests. They were already on the verge of being unable to endure it any longer. Ouyang Jian, his eyes were spitting fire, and his killing intent enveloped the entire College of War Martial Arts. Seeing Long Fei forcefully kiss Aoya, it was as if his heart had been torn apart. A furious roar. Ouyang Jian's entire being erupted. Also because of his angry roar, Aoya suddenly woke up. She glared at Long Fei as she gritted her teeth. Holy **T. Who wants to be humiliated? Who wants to be humiliated? Ah! Ouyang Jian roared in anger, while Long Fei screamed in pain. Long Fei wanted to forcefully kiss her a few more times, but if he did not let go, his tongue would be snapped by Aoya. And then, Long Fei relaxed, blood hanging from the corner of his mouth. Aoya's body also bounced back instantly. Her lips still had the blood on Long Fei's tongue as she glared at him and bellowed, "You." Long Fei acted like a gangster and said, "What about me?" "Then I'll kiss you. I'm the tyrant. What about it? If you have the guts, then beat me," Long Fei said in a domineering manner. He stared at Aoya's huffing and puffing manner and laughed. "You look quite cute when you're angry. Better than your stony face." Long Fei wiped off the blood from the corner of his mouth. "So ruthless, even his tongue was almost bitten off by you. You deserve it." A wave of regret also rose in her heart. He actually couldn't control his body in those few seconds. He was actually a little drunk and in urgent need. Very strange. The Long Fei in front of him was really different from other men. The fastest way to make a woman fall in love with you is to enter her body. Even if she doesn't love you, she'll remember you for the rest of her life. Especially that first woman. At this moment, she hated the abnormal change that had occurred to Long Fei in Aoya's heart, but she also liked that feeling a little in her heart. Long Fei laughed, then said, "It's fine to be bitten by your own woman, but I am not in the academy for my previous mission. I will be in the God Emperor Academy this month. If you want to improve the insight into sword method, I will teach you. In addition, I'll also gift you a weapon that is exclusive to you." Finished. Long Fei unrestrainedly took out the revenge blade and threw it to Aoya, saying, "This sword is better suited for you." Oya took it. After catching the long and thin revenge blade, her entire body froze. She stared at the sword in her hand as her hands trembled. She was excited. Ouyang Jian finally could not hold it in anymore and rushed out to Aoya's side, saying, "Junior sister Aoya, this kind of trash's sword is definitely trash. I got the Immortal Equipment Grandmaster to make you a level 9 immortal sword. It was specially forged for you." While they were talking, Ouyang Jian then took out the sword. He had used up all his possessions to forge this sword with the best materials. He was sure that Aoya would like it. Once this sword appeared, he would be able to instantly seize Aoya. Seeing Long Fei take out a sword that was as thin as a sharp stick, he immediately disdained. "Kid, what good thing can someone with your identity alone take out?" He spoke to Long Fei with disdain. "If you want an identity, you have no status. If you want a position, you have no status. Don't blame me for not reminding you." Chapter 886. Long Fei, it's your turn. Chapter 886. Long Fei, it's your turn. The system beep suddenly sounded out, causing Long Fei's heart to tighten. Are we going to take down the 6th king? Ding. Affability level plus 500. Ding. Affability level plus 500. 2 notifications sounded. Long Fei was a little disappointed in his heart because he didn't directly take down Aoya, but to be able to clear 999 points of affability level was pretty good. After all, he had taken a big step forward. Not all of the things that could restore her affability level to 1 point was because of the revenge blade that Long Fei had gifted her, and of the 500 points, it was because of Long Fei's strong kiss. The other 500 points were due to the name of the revenge blade, revenge. His two conditions spurred for a reaction, causing his affability level to immediately soar by 1,000 points. Finally, it returned to normal. The moment Aoya finished speaking, immediately, huge waves were set off. Immortal stage divine equipment. Impossible, right? What the Oya goddess said is definitely true. She would not lie. Oh my God, if it really is the immortal stage divine equipment, then that brat must have really invested a lot in chasing girls. That is the immortal stage divine equipment worth hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions of them. Why do you give such a holy artifact away? If it were me, I would directly marry him. He's too handsome, so handsome that it's a mess. They might not believe Long Fei's words, but they firmly believed in Aoya's words. Furthermore, Aoya's excited appearance made them even more certain that Long Fei's move was too cool. He just picked up a girl and directly gave it to the immortal stage divine equipment. He had to say it. He had used up all his resources, but he didn't even frown. He didn't take it seriously at all. On the other hand, Ouyang Jian's face turned green, his face paled, and he looked extremely ugly. The sword he specially forged for Aoya was not worth a single cent. It was just like a joke. In addition, he had the sword in his hand the entire time, so he wasn't so willing to give it away. This was the difference. Competing in terms of status, competing on status, comparing financial resources, he could not compare to Long Fei at all. Just a single immortal stage divine equipment had already caused him to be unable to breathe. What else could he be compared to? However, Ouyang Jian became angry and shouted, "I don't believe that a lowly service disciple like you can take out an immortal stage divine equipment? Junior sister Aoya, you must have made a mistake." Long Fei laughed lightly and said, "Whether or not I saw wrongly, I will know after trying." Ouyang Jian sneered and said, "This is what you said you wanted to try." Finished, Ouyang Jian took out his sword, pointed it at Long Fei, and said, "Come, let's try." Long Fei said to Aoya, "Give me your sword." A sword hum sounded out in the air. All of the sword intents attacked Long Fei from all directions as though they were real and completely surrounded him. Very strong. His sword intent was much higher than the one Aoya cultivated, the #1 sword cultivator in God Emperor Academy's younger generation. His sword intent was naturally astonishing. Aoya's face darkened. She took a step forward and blocked in front of Long Fei, shouting, "Ouyang Jian, what are you trying to do?" Ouyang Jian said angrily, "I will kill him." The sword intent around Aoya's body was released. The sword in her hand struck out. "I forbid you from touching him." Shwa. He took a step forward. The two sword intents clashed together, and a series of explosive sounds rang out in the air. It was as if countless long swords were clashing, and the sounds of metal slicing were emitted. Aoya acted on behalf of Long Fei, causing Ouyang Jian to become even more furious. His patience with Aoya had finally run out, and he said solemnly, "Junior sister, you asked for it." Roar. A dragon's roar came from Ouyang Jian's body. The sword intent on his body suddenly changed. The long sword in his hand roared like a fierce dragon, instantly locking Aoya in place. Rumble! The sword stabbed out. Aoya's ethereal footwork was completely seen through, and with a single attack, he forced her to retreat. Bang, bang, bang. Aoya was forced to continuously retreat. Every step she took left a deep footprint. Her vital energy and blood were roiling underneath her chest, and she was unable to withstand the pressure. A mouthful of blood sprayed out. Teacher Oya. Teacher Oya. Many disciples rushed forward. When Aoya was forced back continuously, Long Fei's body landed lightly. He placed a palm on her back, pushed down with all his might, and stabilized her body. Ouyang Jian sneered, stared at Long Fei, and said fiercely, "Long Fei, it's your turn. You're tuning in to the Mystic Fist YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.